the back corner when I'm not presenting.
Listening in.
And listen in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bash University Live here on Tuesday night.
Take a quick break. Watch John Cruz's on the Tokyo rig.
Be a part of the show. Get some chances to win some awesome prizes.
It's Bash You Go. You know, we didn't have that back then. And dude, it could just...
That text thread gives me so much energy. I mean, like I'm dialed.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bash University Live. It's Tuesday night. It's springtime. It's starting to warm up in certain parts of the country. We had a nice day around my house today. We're starting to see some melt. I hope you guys are out fishing. I know a lot of people are, and we've got a terrific guest on tonight's show. He's a friend of all of ours here at Bash University. His name is Travis Manson. You know him from SmallmouthCrush on YouTube and his podcast. He's a former Elite Series pro. And he is going to be with us tonight because he is particularly gifted in the area of tackle organization and tackle management. This is a big deal for you, for all of us. I know it's something that I always am working on and trying to improve in this area because it's just so important. You know, especially for those of us that are under the pressure, under the gun of tournament competition, and having to find that bait that you need exactly the moment you need it. And, you know, organization is absolutely key. Problem areas are, you know, terminal tackle. How are you managing your hooks, your weights, your buyer stops, all that stuff. Soft plastics. What's the best way to keep those in your system? And I'm excited because this is really important for anybody that fishes, whether you're a bank angler, whether you're a co-angler. There's so many, you know, things that can be helpful to your fishing. So Travis is going to be with us tonight. I can't wait for that. And we've got our boys in-house tonight. I see Professional Fish Head. Man, that's an exceptional shirt you're wearing tonight, JK.
Looks like we all got on the same page tonight without getting on the same page.
No, I'm sure Gil's is going to be real happy. I know it's crazy. It looks cool, man. We're all in uniform, and
hey, I'm not opposed to a wardrobe change, you know, every break or something. You know, I got about 4 or 5 laying around here.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're with us tonight for the show. Your co-angling is amazing. And we were talking earlier today about your tackle management, you know, because it's even, man, arguably more important for you because you just have, you know, a small area to work with.
Yeah, that's right. You know, when it comes to fishing out of the back and the random draw, you're not going to get a brand new Ranger every single time or a brand new Camus, you know, with a bunch of space. So your situations are so different, and you gotta get that knowledge of what you're up against, so you know how to pack. And you know,
yes.
When you've done it long enough, you know, okay, I can only get so much in a bass cat, or you know, vice versa. So yeah, we'll love to share a few tips and stuff that I do.
Excellent.
Tonight.
Can't wait. Glad you're with us. And of course, we got a BTC in the house, getting us off pretty much on time tonight.
Yeah, almost.
Yes.
I'll take an almost.
I'll take it too. Remember the early days? If we got off within 15 or 20 minutes, we were fortunate.
Yeah, I'm just better at figuring it out, just a little bit better. And so are all you guys. But yeah, dude, so somehow miraculously mine's is slightly different than you 3 guys, but yeah. I guess that makes me the captain of the night.
We got uniforms.
Yeah.
Uniforms.
Looks good. Looks good. The black and white. We're like the Raiders, you know. Riz, how's your tackle management?
My tackle management is less than stellar, Pete. I have actually found a pretty good system for me though, in like the last year. with this box here that's in front of me, and it's just
The
ironic that
quotient.
it's sitting there. And I actually use that quotient box a lot, where at the end of the day, when all the baits are just laying on the deck of the boat, I take those quotient boxes and pull the blue things out and just throw all the baits inside the open spot of the quotient box so that I can sort them out later when I get home. But typically, my boat's a mess at the end of the day, so I need to take some notes on this topic and, stay organized out there so that I actually know where things are when I want them.
Yeah, that's the fact. I do the same thing. I throw them in a big box and I take them home for later separation and organization.
Sometimes.
But that later never comes.
Yeah, that happens like twice a year. And
Yeah.
it's a mess.
Yeah.
it is a mess, but you gotta love it, man. And so I'm psyched to talk to Travis. I know you guys, have all been on Travis's podcast, and he's good friends with everybody on the show. So it's going to be awesome to have him on tonight.
I agree, man. I agree. And we've got some, we can relate this topic of organized and disorganized, and I'll wait till he's on, but there's some, we got some good stories.
That's good. We're and it's funny because me and Ike are the same way. I mean, we're just it's like controlled chaos at all times, in the boat, in the hotel room where you're staying, in your truck. It's just that's best way to phrase it. But I can't tell you how many times I've been in a tournament, couldn't find what I was looking for, and man, nothing makes me fume more than that happening. So it's going to be awesome. It's a lot going on. We had a great Bash University seminar weekend. All you guys were there. Some of the best talent in the world giving seminars. JK, I gotta say we had some really good ones this past week.
Oh yeah, and I don't want to give a little bit away, but my my top 5 list tonight might just have to do with our week last week.
Nice.
So coming at you later in the show, if my dudes don't forget.
Speak up, homie.
That's awesome. Well,
My
I can't
memory
wait
brought to you by Tin Cup Whiskey. So speak up.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I had some highlights. There were some really blow your hair back moments, and one of which was in addition to our classes, is the interview with Brian New, which we released last week on Winning Ways, and to hear him describe how he was able to feel his way through those lily pad stalks and root systems, and to be able to win the first Elite Series tournament. It's pretty awesome. If you hadn't had a chance to see that, that's lit up right now on Bashy TV. So go check that out, guys.
Yeah, I haven't checked that out yet. I gotta.
It's a good one.
Is it up on the iTunes?
It's on the website.
Okay, on the app.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
That works.
Yeah. Speaking of the app, Bash TV app, guys, is freaking awesome. If you've ever been on the go and you want to listen to Bash TV, and you don't want to have it playing on the front of your phone now with the new phone updates on all smartphones, you can have the Bash TV app open, have it playing, and lock your phone screen, and it will continue to play through your headphones, so you can do whatever you're doing and you can listen to that whole seminar. Man, when that happened, that was just a game changer, to be able to basically listen to Bash TV seminars in pretty much podcast form.
Yeah, that's key.
You've been wanting that since day one, Riz.
Yeah, that was the first thing I said, and luckily Apple and Android, they seem to have did it for us. So
yeah, they did. They made it easy. So go check that out. And what was a highlight, Riz, of your week with Bashu? What sticks out? Give me one thing.
One thing that stuck out to me would be Gerald Swindle's seminar on preparation and practice, and how he gets ready for events, and there was just some really, really in-depth stuff on that, and it really hit home for me this time of year, because that's what we haven't kicked things off for tournaments yet, but it's like I'm diving in on all these lakes that I'm going to be at, so hearing how he breaks these things down and his approach to it, it really struck a chord. So I would have to go with Gerald's piece on practice and preparation.
That's awesome. That was awesome. There were so many that were awesome. Shane LaHue.
That's what I was going to go with, Pete, with Shane LaHue's on the A rigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was an awesome one.
And maybe not all tournament trails accept it, but you ain't always out there fishing a tournament. Sometimes
Exactly.
you just want to catch them and catch big ones. So there was a lot of good information, man, and I've got to throw that bait more this year.
Isn't it the truth? Hey, so many really cool tips, and the way that Shane's Baits has retooled the umbrella rig to make it more versatile, to make it accessible in shallow water, or easier to fish in shallow water, lightening it up, and be honest with you, just Shane's ability to teach and communicate that was really impressive. So yeah, shout out to all the teachers. And Patrick Walters really, closed with that forward-facing sonar, which, he said some things that are going to help everybody and definitely going to help me. So,
Yeah.
What do you got there, JK?
And shout out to Shane for hooking me up with a 9er. I mean,
Wow.
what the heck? That's going to cost you $75 just to build.
That's
going to be fun. I don't even know if it's legal in Georgia, so I'm going to have to check the regulations.
Depends if you get caught or not.
I bet you it's legal. I bet you it's legal at that golf pond that you fish, JK.
Oh, you know it. Yeah, that golf course pond.
Love it. Well,
Let's roll.
Well, I gotta say, I caught you, and everybody's got to go catch the last 15 minutes of the MLF every time there's a cut, because it's crazy. And if you didn't catch the last 15 minutes, Fletcher Shryock was holding the 20th position, like all day, like just hanging on the cut line. And in the last 2 minutes, Michael Neal puts a 3.5 pounder in the boat and bumps him and makes that cut. Heartbreak City for Fletcher. We love you, man. I know that was hard. Is hard to watch, but
what a kick in the tooth, huh?
He said it was a double kick because the second kick
and not in the
nuts.
tooth. Yeah.
yeah. He said a double kick in the nuts because 30 seconds to go, his last cast, the guy goes 30 seconds left. Fletcher's reeling a chatterbait or something around a limb, and one, like he said, it was a grown one, bit, and it came off. So he got a bite on his last cast that would have put him in.
Would have got him in. It would have got him in. And then, but
Crazy.
it's the heartbreak. We watched it happen to Ike and others, but Fletcher's just milling around. It's like 5:05, 5:10 before they get the final update. And it's coming. And they got the camera on him just so that you get to see the agony of defeat, And sure enough, man, they does score tracker update. Fletcher, you finished 21st place. And just the color just gets washed out of your face. It's horrible and amazing all at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to catch that last 15 minutes, but really cool to see everybody in action. The elites were in action, a couple weeks ago, and MLF is at the Red Crest, and all of our boys are fishing everywhere. So it's a lot of fun when live is going on. So we've got a big show tonight, and Riz, we're going to be giving away a lot of stuff. What do we got for the folks tonight?
Yep. So in front of me, I got a bunch of products here from Flambeau and Storm Arashi products. We got a $50 Facebook like and share pack, which is a Flambeau tackle box, BU official hat, and some Storm swim baits. So if you're watching over on Facebook, like and share tonight's feed. You get entered in for a chance to win. Now, of course, we want you to come over and join up for BashU.tv. And right now is a great time to do it because if you sign up for BashU TV, you're going to get 15% off at Tackle Warehouse until the end of the month. Yes, I'm going to look right at the camera. You get 15% off at Tackle Warehouse until the end of the month when you sign up for BashU TV.
That's 5 more days.
Exactly. So you can pay off your BashU TV membership in a Tackle Warehouse order all in one shot. Not to mention you get over 800 videos of all the best bass fishing instructional content you'll find on the web. What we have is geared to help you catch more big bass. Now, for all of our BashU TV subscribers tonight, if you get a question through on the message board with me tonight, you're going to be getting hooked up with some sponsor products. That could be Storm Baits, that could be Rapala, that could be missile baits, all that good stuff. buffs, all kinds of BU official gear. So it pays to be a Bash U TV subscriber. You get your questions answered on the show, and we send you some prizes. Now, the grand prize for tonight's show is a Flambeau Storm tackle pack, which includes a Storm Arashi glide bait, right? Pre-spawn is coming. Fish are going to start eating these big baits. We're going to be hooking you up with a Storm Arashi glide bait. That's a $100 prize pack for a grand prize tonight, and you got to be a Bash U TV subscriber. So there's no better time than now. Head over there, get signed up, get that 15% off at Tackle Warehouse and your $25 Tackle Warehouse gift card, and get over 800 videos.
Outstanding. Guys, get your questions together. We're talking about tackle management tonight with Travis Manson, former Elite Series pro from SmallmouthCrush. Is going to be on with us in just a couple minutes. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Travis Manson, Bass University Live.
Why do you love catching fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worman series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
We're different. Some would say obsessed. There's no place on earth we'd rather be than right here, right now. Performance-driven gear, so you can fish longer, harder. Gill's Performance Fishing.
One thing that's happened that's probably advanced our electronics more so this year than anything that has in a while, C-Clear Power wiring harness. These units are designed to do a certain thing. If you're not getting enough power, enough wattage, enough voltage, they're not going to perform the way they're supposed to perform. C-Clear Power wiring harness fixes that problem. One of the great things about the C-Clear Power harness is it doesn't matter what brand of unit you have, it doesn't matter what kind of boat you got. The thing that you want from the C-Clear harness is power. C-Clear Power puts enough voltage to your units to make them maintain the performance that they're supposed to maintain. So if you're not seeing everything like you think you should see it, C-Clear Power will show it to you.
Welcome back to Bash University Live, everybody. Tuesday night. Glad to have you guys here with us. We're right on the precipice of fishing season. It's almost here. I know some of us on this podcast from down south are already out there fishing strong. The rest of us, we've got a little ways to go, but it's almost there. And super excited. We're going to be talking about tackle management tonight. It's something that is really important, whether you're a bank angler, co-angler, or you're fishing tournaments or fishing out of a boat. It's such an important factor. There's so much great technology out there, and I am horrible at it. So I need help. So I brought the guy that I think can help me, can help all of us, and I'm super psyched to have him. He's a former Elite Series pro from SmallmouthCrush and good friend of everybody here at the show, Travis Manson, buddy. Welcome to the show.
SmallmouthCrush.
Chili cheese, bro.
Good evening.
Good to have you with us, man.
Wow.
It's really cool to have you. I know just about everybody's been on your show. You're getting it's really cool to have you come over and spend some time with us.
Man, yeah, I can't wait for this one. This for the viewers that are watching this, if you are having issues when it comes to tackle management and organization, Pete's got issues. BT's got issues. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit for sure.
BT.
But, other than tackle issues.
Listen, for me, it's a part of my life now. It's a routine. It's something that you know, funny enough, I'm super passionate about staying organized. And if I'm not organized, I'm messed up in the head.
Yeah.
Gosh, I want just a little piece of that, just a little bit more. I've told myself, Travis, over the years, if I just would take 10 minutes at the end of each day and cleaned up or organized just a little bit, how far further along I'd be. But man, I can never find that 10 minutes.
Pete, I got some bad news for you.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be more than 10 minutes.
Oh, that is bad news.
Dude, this is something you do daily. Daily.
Oh, it hurts.
It's it's, you know, it's almost like working out, or it's a habit. It's forming the habits to help you be more efficient on the water, controlling what you can control. We can't control the weather. We can't control that guy that found the same fish that you found, but you can control the gear, the tackle, and the equipment. And the water based on having the proper, I guess, discipline prior to leading up to that event, or that just a day on the lake, if you will. It takes discipline to get at this level. It takes a little weirdness. Like I said, I enjoy it, dude. If I'm not on the lake, where else do I want to be? Do I want to be sitting there watching Netflix? Not really. I want to be playing with my baits, crankbait box. Do I have enough, you know, O-rings to get me through the season? How many Cinco colors do I have left? I don't mind doing that. And I'll spend hours. I love it, dude. I love playing with my tackle.
Travis, the thing that makes me the craziest on tournament day, you guys may be able to appreciate this, is I would, you know, you come in and you got to go to registration. That's when you used to have registration, and you come in on last day of practice, and I would be next to these guys like that they'd put the rod, their hook on the, you know, the hook carrier, put a sleeve on, close up the rod locker, and they're ready to tournament fish. Like they're ready. Like, and I am 4, 5, 6 hours away because I am so all over the place. Practice has just scrambled me and scattered me, and I have to re-spool, and lures have to be put back together. I've got to replace hooks, and I was always so envious of the guys. Boom, let's go to dinner. I'm ready to fish. Is that you,
Pete? I don't understand those guys. No, that's not me. If you want to be able to compete, and if you want to have your stuff in gear and ready to go, I'm the last guy to go to bed at night. And not because BTC thinks I'm a vampire or Dracula. I seriously,
you still haven't proven you're not, bro.
I have to get my stuff in order, and that's, for me, the most stressful part of tournament fishing is that Wednesday night, is that Thursday night before the event. The time from coming off the water, you know, obviously I want to take advantage. I've never understood the guy that says, well, I'm on fish, I don't need to practice today. I've never understood that concept. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'll never accept it. So for me, I'm going to fish and do everything I can up until the last minute. And then, of course, comes the meeting. And oh my gosh, how much stuff do I have to prepare to be able to compete tomorrow at the highest level I can compete? And so that was the most, that's anxiety for me. That's something I don't look forward to. In fact, even at the opens level, I almost wish they forced you to have a day off. If they forced us, then of course I would gladly take it. I would sleep in. I would. You would find me later that day, going to a car wash and washing the boat and truck and vacuuming, and then the rest of the afternoon will literally be tackle prep and just getting right with my head.
Agreed. Yeah, I know that day off is. When the FLW, when I fished there, they forced it, and we had to take that day off. And I've tried to incorporate it into my fishing because that's my organization day. That's the day where I can collect myself and get my gear together. But I know you're so prepared, Travis, that you probably have prepared like an agenda for tonight. on how to get started, you know.
Yes.
So let me ask you, where do you want to start? Where do you think the first place to start is?
Well,
with organization?
I guess to get the most of this tonight, we have to go in stages. First, I want to just let everybody know that, yes, I do like to be organized, but here's my problem. Here's my fault. And if anyone has a solution, I'd love to hear it. Before I leave for a fishing trip or an event or whatever the case may be, my truck, my boat, everything has to be washed, vacuumed. All the rods are perfectly laid in the boat. All the tackle that I need leading up to the event is organized inside my vehicle. You know, I got my full cup of water. I got everything I need laid out. 3 days into it, there's stuff crammed in the back of the truck. There's stuff. It's a mess. And so here's my problem. I can't keep it organized. And so that's why I'm always organizing, because I cannot keep it like that for the week. I can't do it. So I'm going to give you some solutions or ways I fight through that. But you will always find me organizing because I cannot put things back where they belong. I can't. And so what do you call that? There's got to be some type of, I don't know, diagnosis for that.
It's normal. It's normal. I mean, that's me. I mean, I have a wad of lures on my step up to my front deck that just everything goes there and goes there and goes there.
Yeah.
I can, you know,
yeah.
And I trick myself into thinking, don't put it away because you needed it a few minutes ago. You might need it again.
Well, you don't have time to put it away because you're focused on trying to catch fish and trying to figure out a pattern, trying to be as efficient as you can with time. Later on tonight, we'll go through some of those. Maybe I have a couple solutions for that scenario because I think everyone's in that situation. What do you do with a bunch of tackle sitting at the bottom of the boat? Here's the deal, guys. Fishing, competing, fun fishing, whatever it is, baits to catch bass, it's expensive. It's a huge investment. And you got to take care of this stuff. You know, I don't know. I mean, some pack of baits are $8-9 a pack for 5 or 6 of them. And you go blow through a different color and you throw that on the you know, deck of your boat. Man, I don't know. I want to be able to preserve those. Of course, elements, weather, rain, rust, right? We're dealing with metal. There's nothing worse. And I've got, you know, the worst night of my life ever was driving back from Wisconsin. And I always take the plug out of my boat, but I didn't for some reason. And I had the battery switch off. Anyways, for 14 hours, it was nothing but rain, like literally through every state, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania. My boat, and I got back at like, I don't know, midnight. I parked the boat. I don't care. I'm going to bed. Dude, I just drove. I didn't realize it. So my boat had, I don't know, it was up to your knees, dude, in the console of water. And all my tackle was in there. And you know, the next day I slept in and I had stuff to do, right? I didn't even want to deal with the boat. I've been fishing for a week. I don't care. I'll get to it. Dude, 2-3 days later, I go out to the boat and realize that I have 3 feet of water in every compartment. Yeah, dude. Like, so
I've been there. I've done that same thing.
Imagine all of your everything soaked, all your containers. You know what I mean? So that was a nightmare. This was pre-YouTube. It would probably have made a really good video, but you know, take the plug out if you're going on a long trip.
I've done that, and I had collected water in a compartment, and I had a whole box of super high dollar lures, and I lost the whole thing.
Sure.
I mean, it must have been $2,000 worth of plugs in there.
Yes.
And it's heartbreaking. I've been there. Yeah, that's a crazy story.
It is. So let's get into a couple key things that, you know, first of all, let me give you a tour of my setup. I think I have things set up here where I'll kind of be able to walk around and show you guys some examples this evening. But I guess from my perspective or my standpoint, here's what you guys have to understand. I live in a townhouse, and so I fish tournaments, I guide, and I do a lot of YouTube and social media stuff. And so my studio, tackle room, everything is in a 20 by 10 foot garage. This garage is so small you couldn't even fit a Honda Civic in here. Okay, you can't. It's useless. I don't even know why I'm glad we have it. Okay, because it's now a tackle room and a studio for me. And so what I'm going to show with you is how I have things set up. Of course, I have my rod set up in one area. I have a tackle shelf with all the baits that I like to use in boxes, and we're going to get into that, soft plastic as well as hard baits. I have a 10-foot pig board where I have a lot of my baits, and I have another 10-foot pig board where I have a lot of my baits that I use on a regular basis. So, and then of course we have some storage, some shelves that we put up to be able to manage everything, because it's not only tackle you're bringing, floggers, underwater cameras, drift socks, anchors at times. There's a lot of stuff, dude, that you have to have ready and available to be able to go out there and travel and guide. And so, and to be able to be efficient with the space I have, you're going to notice, so all my boxes and equipment for my 2021 boat arrived. And so part of the garage is I don't have as much room as I normally have because I'm filled up with, mounts and this and that. That'll be taken to the dealer here shortly. But let me kind of walk you through the area here, if you guys can see this.
First, I have to make a quick comment,
Yes.
Travis. I work in a similar area.
Okay.
And there's absolutely no way I would bring a camera into it because of embarrassment.
Right. I got you. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to.
Oh, we lost his audio.
If-
Trav,
Your audio's.
did you
your
walk away from
audio's
the microphone?
Okay, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So here we have.
Hold on 1 second, Travis. I gotta put the camera on me for just 1 second while Rich gets the computer. Did we get it? All right. Stupid computer's trying to do an update right now during the live show.
Oh, geez.
Thanks, Bill Gates. Back to you, Travis.
Here we are. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, so this wall here has, as you can see, a lot of swim baits. As we go down here, I use a lot of Z-Man products. So we're gonna have a lot of Z-Man different baits I use on a regular basis. A lot of crankbaits that I like to use. So you'll see a bunch of Rapalas, DT10s, DT6s, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the actual studio. So I got a small little desk. I got the little wall of fame back there. This is where I test all my baits in this little aquarium. And then as we move over here, you'll see I have another wall of baits lined up. And if I can walk over here, hopefully the audio stays with me. You can see over there's my shelves for all my baits. And then I have my rods over here. And we have some stuff set up for the show tonight, but normally this area would all be pretty clear. Allow me to kind of work a little bit more efficient. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over computer screens, if this lets me.
More volume, Travis.
Okay. Bear with me, guys. We're going to get set up here permanently.
Riz, is this what your bait area looks like?
Yeah, Pete, it looks exactly like this, except it consists of mainly used soft plastics and rusted crankbaits.
Oh, jeez. All right, how's my volume from this distance, okay?
Very good. Very good.
All right, good. Man, where do we even start? So I guess we have to focus on the baits that I carry and the baits I'd recommend people carry in the future. So I like to keep things super simple. And what do I mean by that? I used to think you had to have 18 different colors of different creature baits. I come to realize that I can't do it. I don't have the room. Right. I don't have the storage in my boat. Green pumpkin, black and blue. Those are going to be the predominant colors you're going to see me carry, because that allows me to fish pretty much with confidence any body of water. Those fish are going to bite one of those two colors. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't do, I'm going to Lake Chickamauga here in mid-April and have no idea about it. I'm fishing the Ray Scott Championship. I don't know anything about the lake. So I'm going to do in my research, I'm going to write down keywords. So I might hear, watermelon red more often than not. Well, guess what? That's going to tell me when I'm heading down to that tournament, I'm going to need some watermelon red creature baits or lizards or Cincos or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, I like to keep things really, really basic and simple. And I do that with my crankbaits too. You're going to have your shad colors. You're going to have your crayfish colors. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yep. Makes sense. I've gone to that same system. One of the things that I've learned too is with the with Tackle Warehouse and the great tackle stores we have around the country right now, if you start getting on a wacky color, like I try to be a minimalist too, because I can get most everything overnighted.
Yes.
In today's day.
That's a great point. So when you are traveling, you want to make sure you got the tackle shop you're going to order from on your speed dial. Mm-hmm. You want your address to the hotel right there in the boat. I don't know how many times I've dialed. I said, hey, send this stuff here. I get back the next day. It's arrived. The problem is sometimes you get on a bite on that Thursday or Friday or the day before the event. And so what I like to do is keep things real simple, but I have what I call a mother box. Well, multiple mother boxes of baits that come with me prior. So there's a lot of planning before I go on an event of baits that I might need. So for example here,
mother box.
All my soft plastics that I can keep are kept in hard boxes. Okay. Except for baits like a Z-Man product, baits that don't play nice with a hard that need to stay in their bags, I will do that. But if we look here, this is my swim bait box. This is Kitech, and I label everything. My best friend, and you'll learn this by the end of the night, is this guy right here. Okay. If you took the time to organize your baits, have a little bit of, it just feels good to have a nice written, printed out label of everything. We're going to get crazy because you're going to see how crazy I am with labels here. But look how nice that looks. It just looks great. I have it on both sides so I can see it at whatever angle. So Kitech's 2.8s, 3.3s. If we open it up, all we have is the main colors I like to use: a perch color, a straight black, a goby, and then some type of shad color.
Right.
And that's it.
Well, I got to jump in here right now because my fish head brain's going nuts.
Yes.
Travis, you're taking those out of the pack and you don't
have
care.
To. Dude, I can fit so much more in this. And listen, certain baits, these tails don't get, Kitech tails don't get bent.
That's what I wanted to know right there. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
No, you don't pack them in, but keep them fluffed and nice. Okay. Some swim baits, yes, you probably will have a problem.
Wow.
For this,
learn something.
Yeah. For this, everything.
Travis,
they
let
come
me,
in
let
those.
me, let me have
Go
a
ahead,
follow-up question. I'm sorry, Justin, but I've gotten away from putting them in boxes because I had losses. Like I would get moisture in there and
Pete,
I would lose them.
Pete, you're going to have losses. You're going to have a box that spears away if you don't realize it for a few months or, weeks.
Right. You don't use that. It's a spring box. You don't use it for a while. You go back to it and everything.
You could be in trouble. A lot of times plastics that do get a little moisture, they'll form that nasty kind of gooey color. I don't know how to describe the color, but everyone knows what I'm talking about. And you can lose soft plastics. I don't lose too many with this system though. And for me, I can't carry, if you look at the clamshell packages of Kitech's, if you wanted me to, there's 4 or 5 packs of 2.8s and gobies in here. What would how much room would all these take up?
Too much.
So same thing with my Cinco box. Okay. Again, I'm going to stick with a stick bait that I have confidence in. For me, it's a Cinco. I'm going to have my secret little big ones. Okay. I'm going to have them all sizes. I'm going to have black and blue and green pumpkin is what you'll find here. You're going to find your 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch, and 7-inch Cincos in this pretty much what I call go-to Cinco box. You can go anywhere in the country and catch fish on this box right here if you're on a stick bait deal. Now, that doesn't mean when I'm traveling, you know, what's this color here? Some laminate, I don't know, peanut butter and jelly. I'm going to bring it. And here's another thing, guys. If you notice here, I double box, you know, I have probably 2 or 3 packs in one pack.
Love it. I like the double bag too.
Yes. So double bag. So here's, I know my head's spinning, but if you look at this setup here, all the baits I use on a regular basis are right here. So I know how many 5-inch black and blue Senkos I have on stock. I know how much green pumpkin. I know how many robo worms I have. I know how many baby D-bombs I have, how many spicy beavers, rage craws. What's this? The half shell. I can see what I have on hand. And when I'm heading to Lake Ontario for a tournament, I have my mother boxes. I know these baits are going to catch them. They're going to be what I'm going to use. But geez, am I going to use a lot more 3-inch black Senkos up on the St. Lawrence River? Probably. So guess what? I'm going to pull my 3-inch black Senkos, which are right here, and I'm going to put them in, which would be right here, another bag, okay? And I'm going to fill this bag up, and then I have a system in my truck where it's one of those pull-out deals with drawers, okay? Right. And I have these blue containers here that fit perfectly. I can stack all my baits up, my extra baits if I'm traveling, and they'll be right here. I may never use them, but at least I have them, so I don't have to make that call overnight to a tackle store.
What container is that, Travis?
So this comes with the storage containers. There's 2 of them. There's that plastic one and the metal kind. I have the plastic one. I can't even think of the name of the truck accessory that pulls out. You guys help me out? No, I should know this. I don't. But they just fit into that tray perfectly.
I got you. Okay.
And that's
Is it
why
ARE?
No, it's not ARE. It's I'll think of it before the night's over. But same thing on this other wall with all the Kitex. Like I don't have.
Our guys are saying decked.
So yes, that's it. Decked. That's it.
Good job, New York, Chris.
So on my Kitech wall, I'm not going crazy. Like I said, goby perch, a white color, and a green pumpkin. I don't got like green pumpkin with whatever, purple and yellow in it. That's just my basic colors I use. So I know exactly what I have. So here's the greatest part. This time of year is when I do all my tackle ordering. So I'll put in and here's the deal, guys. You can sometimes work out a deal with a tackle company, or I know Bass U has a lot of promos as far as discounts off of tackle warehouse, places like that. Put together a $3,000 order of what you're going to use that year and get all your stuff at once and work out a deal with either a local guy or whatever. So you can get a discount sometimes of all that stuff and save you some money right there.
Yeah. 15% off Tackle Warehouse right now.
Yeah. So that's what I would do. I would buy everything you're going to need for the summer. That's for the season. That's what I do every year at this time, because I ain't got time to buy stuff during, although I do, and we'll get into
that. I was about to say,
we're all addicted.
And so I'm not going to go through every box here, but for tubes. So I'm a big tube head, right? So those are all the tubes and the colors, and they're all pretty much, colors you would expect me to use, but I have them all here. Now, when I'm going to a smallmouth fishery, let me see if I can bring out the mother box and show you.
By the way, I love that you have a tube box, because it seems like nobody throws tubes anymore.
So this is the tube box. So if I need more green, dark melon, green pepper, or gold flake, everything's in there, and that just comes in the truck. Now they weigh a lot, okay? Now I fish a lot of goby water, so this here is all my goby bait. So they're going to come in the vehicle with me, everything I need, and well, there's some colors you can't see, but you shouldn't see. So I didn't mean to share that with everyone.
Well, here's the thing. You can tell Travis is like veering off what he was saying about the black and blue green pumpkin thing. I saw a tube box that had about 12 different colors in there.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's so Specific, yeah, you're right. So that's how I manage my soft plastics. Now,
I always use 3 colors except when I use 12.
okay,
For the baits he's obviously passionate about. You can tell that, you know.
Sure.
So for Z-Man products, which I love, I have this big Z-Man case that they have, and
Yeah, I've
believe
seen
it or
this
not,
case. Yeah.
every bait that Z-Man makes or that I like to use, I have one of each color in here. In one of our colors I use, but one of each bait. So Billy Goat to, I mean, we can pick random stuff out of here. The TRD bugs, everything is in this box that actually comes out in my boat with me. It's in like a side compartment. More so when I'm going to a new body of water that I'm not familiar with. If I'm going to a place like the Chesapeake Bay, all I'm bringing, and that's another point. So I have certain boxes. So for lakes I fish a lot, like the Chesapeake, I'm not bringing out this big box of jerk baits. Okay, I have a smaller setup, and we'll get into that. But for lakes I'm familiar with that I know, okay, here's the Z-Man products that I'm going to be using on the Chesapeake. Okay, so I know I'm going to use a black and blue big TRD. So, and I guide a lot, and we use these baits a lot. So this just has them all right here. Easy to grab, to manage, and go through. And then I can see when I'm getting low. If I'm getting low on black and blue, okay, I got to remember when I go home that night, I need to go off, grab it off the pegs, and put them, resupply. And then again, I watch that level on the pegs. Oh, shoot, I only got 3 more black and blues left. Time to reorder if I have to. Make sense?
Yep.
Good system.
Very good system.
So you can keep less too probably of the Z-Man products because
yeah. So you don't use a whole lot of those.
Yeah.
They're very durable. So that's why I love this system. Now, keep in mind, in that blue container we saw in the truck, if I'm heading up north somewhere, there's going to be a bunch of Z-Mans in that to restock that bag even. Man. Terminal tackle.
Random question real quick to
Yes.
pause you again on the Z-Man stuff. I'm curious because I know you actually unlike me get to experience probably 100 fish smallmouth days up
Sure.
north. How many smallmouth have you caught on one Z-Man bait, like one elastic bait?
That's a really good question. So I just did a video last week. It was a private video for a few members that subscribe to the channel. But we talked about a secret Z-Man bait that I use on a regular basis. And back in November, I was up in Wisconsin and I had 100 fish days. I had 27.5 pounds. And the only reason why I had to change baits was because I broke off. But I only went through 2 of those baits that whole day.
Wow.
With Z-Man baits, you can certainly catch a lot of fish on one bait. Absolutely. Now, there's certain times when dude, if I'm catching them on a Cinco, a 3-inch Cinco, and I'm in a tournament, I don't care how many I go through. You know what I mean? Let them rip it off. I don't, you know what I mean? So every bait's different. But yeah, Z-Man's very, very durable for sure.
Cool.
So we kind of know how I store my plastics. My hard baits are the same. So this is my Rapala box. And then I have different boxes, like I'll have square bills, everything's labeled. Okay, everything's labeled. I go through, so like key colors, you guys, like Helsinki, okay? I'm going to take the time now to change the hooks on baits, to put triple grips. I like a short shank triple grip, especially if they're chewing that crankbait. And I'm going to throw this DT6 probably in the spring here on the Chesapeake in tournaments. And so I want to have the stuff ready to go. Okay. Here's a DT10 that I love to put a little fingernail polish and make a little extra silver flake on that. I don't know if you can see that.
Sure.
But I have those ready to go. And of course, the triple grips are there. Now, there's certain areas on the Chesapeake where I'm going to burn through 5 or 6 DT6s a day just because of the amount of structure and snags that are there. And so I want to, I have about 8 or 9 Rapalas in each color that I'm confident in this box. But of course, I have a bunch on the wall and I need to replenish it. So again, it's about the worst thing you want to do is blow through your Fire Tiger DT6s and then not have any left in here and not. I mean, I always know what I have.
Especially on Derby Day.
Yes.
I've been caught on losing my last bait on Derby Day. And that is the heartbreakingest feeling in the world to not have the color or whatever it may be.
Yeah. That is a challenge. Let's talk terminal tackle because terminal
tackle. I have redone my terminal. I have it at the top of my list to ask you about because
before you jump into that, we've got some stuff on the message board.
Good call, BTC.
So
Who's
let's
there?
hit some of them peeps. I'll start it off. Over on YouTube, Dennis Kleinbrink. Travis wants to know, how do you store your cover scats and bull flats?
My who?
Your cover scats and bull flats.
What do you say to that? I don't even know what that means. Help me out.
That secret lingo,
Good
BTC?
work,
what is that?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is, but
I don't know.
I like Dennis. That was a good one.
And
that was
on the
Oh,
am I lit up?
Yeah, you're ready.
On the Bashu TV message board, we have Jay Water wants to know, Travis, what's your go-to way of storing spools of line? He's tired of throwing spools of leader line into open compartments.
Dude, let's talk about that right now because super excited when it comes to line because, and if I can find my damn notes on it, you'd think I'd have it on a spreadsheet, which I normally do.
See, you need to be a little bit more organized, Travis.
Dude, I suck. I should have the website ready to go for this because my buddy makes these. Look at this. This is, okay, I used to use, here's a spool of 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader line. I used to use rubber bands and stuff. Dude,
what's got on there?
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It just comes off the spool. Take what you need, and it's always there.
What is that?
It's just a band you put.
Yeah.
That's really
okay. You thread your line through it. It's designed for that purpose. I thought
It
you were
does.
modifying it.
What's it called?
It's designed. All right, talk amongst yourselves. Let me find out. I'll get it right now.
That's pretty cool. When
I
somebody
really want to know.
Yeah, somebody watching at home, give us the name of that. I have no idea where to even start looking for that, but that's a pretty cool system.
And just to be clear, did he say he has a spreadsheet for his line sizes?
He did refer to a spreadsheet, but let's dive in deeper to where the spreadsheet's being utilized in this operation.
Spreadsheets come into play when it comes to my rod and reel combos and the lines that I have, but we'll get into that. So the line. So here's what I use. This thing might not be the best box. Listen, I'm always looking to improve too. I'm not set on my ways at all. If there's a better system, I'm all about it. But for keeping my, spools of line, I don't carry a whole lot of line with me in the boat. I'm going to have like 17, 15, 12, and 10 bulk spools in case I'm cranking and I, burn up a bait caster or something. I need to re-spool that day. My leader material is really what's really important to me. So I do a lot of drop shot, a lot of finesse fishing, a lot of spinning rods, fluorocarbon to braid type of situations. And so I want to have my 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. And so I keep it in this box. And then these little reel deals. Well, here it is. It's anglerconcepts.com. You can use SmallmouthCrush 10, get 10% off. It's pretty cheap, 5 for $20. Anglerconcepts.com, and you can get these. I'm actually making a video on my YouTube channel about these because super efficient. As dumb as it sounds, I don't know how many times I've put them in these boxes and traveling on the lake. All of a sudden, Pete, you've been there.
Unwinds.
Stuff's everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
So that's my system on the line. Now, I do have a mother box up here. which is what I'll carry in my truck during an event. Okay. So real simple. Where was I going? Terminal tackle. I don't want to start out with hooks and stuff. I want to start with the good stuff, the drop shot weights, right? Because I go through.
You use drop shot weights?
I do a little bit, sometimes by the thousands. So here's a tip for you. You don't necessarily need tungsten unless you really want to feel the bottom. You're in a tournament situation. And there's different applications, but for the most part, you don't need tungsten. You can use lead. I suggest buying it in bulk. You can go on eBay and type in, 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce cylinder drop shot weights, and you can get them a lot cheaper than you can at Tackle Store. It's going to give you 5. I literally buy about 200 to 300 in every size before the season, because that's how many drop shot weights I go to. Because snags, and when the smallmouth jumps, which they do a lot, they throw that drop shot weight gone. Yeah. And plus guiding, all the days in the water. So if I'm just going to a random lake, I'm going to have this little drop shot box, which isn't much. Okay. It's just got all the standard sizes that I'm going to use. And I feel good about this box. If I'm on the Chesapeake or if I'm going down to Chickamauga, I'm good with this little guy here. But in my truck, I got a bigger box here with everything. And if I'm in a tournament, this box will come with me. Now, so I have a mother box of drop shot weights. And that's right here. So these are all the drop shot weights.
What's that weigh? 25 pounds?
More than that.
More than that, easy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Probably 60. And so those weights will be in the truck with me because I'm not carrying 60 pounds in the boat. Tube head's the same. I feel pretty confident with exposed hook tubes about a box this size. So this is small. This is manageable. Again, I'm going to have, the mother box that'll come in the boat with if I'm in a big smallmouth event. Okay.
Hey, Travis, fun fact. Brian New, who just won down on the St. John's.
Yeah.
The day before the finals, he unloaded his boat of things he didn't need.
Yep.
All of his plastics. And he arrived 6 minutes early.
Wow.
Sure.
By taking weight out of his boat.
Pete, that's an awesome point. I don't recommend that because you never know what's going to happen during that day. Right. You know what I mean? Like I can't fathom. You never know what you're going to run into on that body of water. Now it's rare. It may never happen in the tournament, but you've been there where you've taken something out and you're like, oh my, this is the bait I needed. I wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, it'd be rare,
Yeah. He was pretty dialed. That was day 3, right?
It was the final day. So he was pretty dialed in where he was going to fish and how he was going to try to win it. And he probably had smallmouth baits in his boat that he could get rid of.
Yeah.
Some obvious stuff. And I get your point exactly. But I was just amazed at how much faster he was able to go and he measured it,
Hey, my boat's always one of the slowest. And here's what I've learned. I don't care. What I care about is having my equipment intact and working when I get there. I used to be, people for some reason thought I drove crazy because I've wrecked a lot of boats and stuff like that, cracks and things. And, maybe back in the day, but lately I take my time, man. I don't care if 8 guys pass me, I want my equipment to work. And especially with guiding, I think a lot has to do with when you're guiding clients. You want to have a comfortable ride with them, and you don't have a service crew back at the ramp at the end of the day to work on your stuff. So that's a whole nother.
100%. I agree with you. And I've backed off the throttle. And you know and this is another cool fact, Larry Nixon gave me this advice, and he gave it to me probably 15 years ago, but I didn't listen to it until about 5 years ago. Is that he backs off. He lowers his RPMs when he runs. Like he doesn't go 6,000, he goes 5,800. Everything he does is fast, but it's just a little bit down. He's never blown an engine. He's never had an issue, and you run into so much less trouble.
Wow.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. You know, just, you know, it's better to arrive, everything working, everybody's safe. You know what I mean? It's, and I'm with you. I'm not a speed demon anymore.
Yeah. And as far as tackle's concerned, I'm on Team Travis there. Like, I want, even as a co-angler, I want every single piece of tackle that I can possibly think I might need, or not. I haven't caught a fish on a wigglewort in like 8 years. Is the only fish I weighed in at Lake Chickamauga. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that you might be off limits or something.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay. But like,
I can get. I'm taking notes.
You might win now from that one fish.
That's right.
But by the way, since you brought it up, Justin, Shane Cook over on YouTube brought that topic up, and you know, not right now. You're in the middle of something, but getting into, you know, tackle management as a co-angler, and you know, going into events. So right, I think you're prepared.
I got some stuff for later.
Right
oh
on.
yeah.
So terminal tackle is tricky. I've had a lot of different systems. I've tried a lot of different ways. For me, this is the most efficient. Bass Mafia, they have, it's called the bait, I don't know what it's called, terminal coffin, okay? It is. I knew BTC would say something like that. But listen, so these are very, I mean, they're durable. I'm not gonna lie to you. I filled this thing up with water before. Okay. I haven't found a box where you don't fill up with water. And I'm talking because I'm in big waves. I'm spearing waves. As safe as I drive, let's say I'm 25 miles offshore and wind's kicked up and we have 4 to 6 foot rollers. I'm going to go over 1,500 waves in the next hour getting back to the launch. I guarantee I'm going to spear 2 or 3 of them. Okay. It's just what happens. I'm going to fill the boat up with water today because it's rough. And when that happens, your compartments, that little, you know, that little ditch in between the compartments
overflows.
It can't keep up. Your stuff's going to overflow into your compartments. And of course, when this box is sitting on the bottom, or it's going to accumulate water. So whenever you're in those situations, you do have to take everything out. Okay. That's a tip. You got to check your stuff. You don't want to just not worry about it when you get back to the ramp.
Travis, I got to ask, are you storing which boxes are you storing vertically and horizontally with respect to terminal tackle?
So all my plastics are stored horizontally. The vertical, or the ones that are vertical. The ones that are laying straight are going to be the heavier boxes, which sometimes is a terminal tackle.
Sure.
And because I feel like if it's laying, you know, a lot of times your hooks, sinkers, your terminal stuff will bang up against each other and kind of wear and tear, if you will. I think it's a better ride when it's laying down like this. Okay. But, and this is something new this year. I started using these little deals that they allow you to put like your bullet weights in. And I don't know how disciplined I'm going to be. I already see it's a heck of a hard time opening this damn thing just right here. Okay. But it's going to keep my weights maybe from losing chip and paint and keep everything organized. But all I have in here is going to be my extra wide gap, my straight shank, you know, size 6.5432s. I'll have some wacky rig hooks in here. I'm going to have my bobbers, stoppers, some flick shakes, some weights, you know, for Neko rigging, some swivels, some beads for Carolina rigs. Real simple stuff in this box. This is my bread and butter. If I'm flipping a creature bait, I'm going to Texas rig it. I'm going to throw a weight on there. I'm going to bobber stop it. And I'm going to use a hook. Real simple stuff. Now, because I fish a lot of different applications, there's a lot of different things going on sometimes. Sometimes I'm fishing smallmouth, and in the next hour, I'm going to go fish for largemouth. So I have to have all this stuff on me. But can't fit it all in that Bass Mafia box. So I found, and this is labeled terminal tackle. This is a big box here. It's waterproof. I don't know who even makes this, but if we open it up and it's packed, okay, I wish it was just maybe an inch bigger. And I'll try to hold this up and then we'll go into it. But I have a couple boxes and then I have everything in bags in here. This is going to be all my oddball stuff that I may not need, but I want to have. So what's that say? Damiki jigs. So all my Damiki jigs are in this plastic box or bag, which is sealed. Now, here's the important thing. If you're going to do this system, you want to make sure you get 4mm plastic bags or thicker. You don't want the 1 or 2. It's too light. This is just added protection in case this big box gets wet. Maybe I can salvage these baits by having this sealed. Now, we'll go a step further, okay?
Double bagger.
Double bag them.
Double bag it.
Of each size. And not only does it keep it safe, but it's also a little bit more organized because I know all the different sizes that are in there.
I think that's something, guys learn on the road. Always double bag your groceries, right, Trav?
That's right. So so this is a Santone, I call them the spark jig. So if I'm going to throw a spark shad swim bait, this is the only jig head that I have confidence in. And if you open it up, you're going to see the sizes I use quite a bit, and they're labeled 1/4 ounce. And there they all are, double bagged. And it's real simple. Okay. It's simple to grab this stuff. We're going to get into what happens when it's all laying on the bottom of your boat. Okay. Because listen, after I'm done with that little spark shad and I ain't catching nothing on it, I'm not taking the time to open up this box and 2 more bags and putting it away. But I will at some point. Okay. I will. You have to. Another thing, like giant TRDs. Am I going to throw that massive giant TRD? Not too often, but I want to make sure I have my jig heads with me for that application. So, tungsten jigs, pivot heads, bigger screw lock swim bait heads in all the different sizes that I might need. This thing here actually, it's pretty cool. Actually, my grandfather used to store his ice fishing jigs in this like 30 years ago. And so I kept it and I store my split shots in it. You ever split
that exact bottle?
Yeah, dude.
That's so cool.
So
I know.
what is that bottle?
It's an old Tums bottle, which probably gave him the ulcer that killed him. I'm just saying.
Wow, that's really cool that you carry that with you.
Yeah. So swim bait, screw locks. Miscellaneous bags. So let's just look at a miscellaneous bag. What would that entail? It's gonna be some crankbait snaps. It's gonna have my what are those flashy things you tie on your plastic? Like I ever do that? You know what I mean? But I have it, right? It's got your hitchhikers. It just has everything. Your trailer hooks for swim jigs. It's got my lead, weight down a jerk bait or whatever. So it has everything I need is in this box. Even eyeballs. Okay. Everything. Now, I also have 4 of these boxes, these smaller boxes, and you can see them, they're labeled swim bait hooks. More football heads, so they might be weed guards, non-weed guards.
What do you store? Like, spike it, dip it, scent.
Yeah, we'll get to that, bro. We're still in terminal. Swim baits, shaky head. Okay, we'll get to that.
How about O'Shaughnessy?
O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
O'Shaughnessy. Now here's the cool part, guys. I don't necessarily, if I'm on the Chesapeake Bay and I know what I'm going to use, I don't want to dig into this big green box that might have a couple other tackle boxes on top of it. I have my day bag.
Yeah.
Okay. So this day bag is the bomb, dude, because if I'm throwing a Ned, there they are. Yeah. There's my Ned locks. Again, dude, of course I'm going to throw a 1/15 size. And there they are. Green pumpkin, black, and chartreuse.
1/15?
Yeah, 1/15, 1/10, 1/5, 1/6. They're all going to be right here ready for me to go. I have my pro shrooms all labeled, ready to go. I have my drop shot hooks that I use on a regular basis, ready to go. Now, keep in mind, I have another drop shot bag in that big green box, but these are going to be like Texas rigging, couple ones for tubes, some secret stuff in here, okay? But the main bread and butter is going to be this bag for drop shot weights. Finesse bullets. more Neds, your big TRD Ned rigs, and then again everything's listed, and it's in this day box.
Okay,
and then,
so
of course,
let me
I
ask
got
you.
my for wacky rigging stuff.
Yeah.
Everything's ready to go in that box.
Yeah, wacky.
bag.
So Travis, when you make a day box, I mean, do you put the plastics, pulling out the bags that you anticipate using, everything for that day?
I'll be honest with you. Yes, these main terminal tackle, this bag is big enough that if I know I'm going to be throwing a lot of big TRDs, I'm going to have green pumpkin, black and blue ready to go in here.
Yeah.
I'm also going to put 8 or 10 pound spool of fluorocarbon line in here.
Yeah.
So everything's when I'm guiding it, dude, Ozark Trail, it's a Walmart brand, right?
Okay.
Any bag, it's not waterproof.
Yeah.
Okay, but
it's Bash University Orange.
Yeah,
so you get credit for that.
I should. And here's the deal: I'm not sponsored by Bass Mafia or any. I would love a better system for boxes, dude. I don't want to spend $30 on a coffin. You know what I mean? So I'm always open. I just whatever they are. Like this Plano here. I like him because I have a bunch of these and I like to keep it all color coordinated. And I have all blue latches on mine. So all of them have to have blue latches. If I have a black one, I'll get freaked out and I'll convert them all to whatever color. So that's just how my mind works. So that's the terminal tackle side. I know we went fairly quickly. I'm good. I know I'm going to keep my treble hooks.
Fairly.
My treble hooks, different, all the different sizes I'm going to need. So you asked about scent. This is what I use. Here's another Walmart brand box. They just work, and if you open it up, I'm going to have all the scents that I need. So I got a little bang in here. I got some smelly jelly. I have my Z Baits craw. And then
but what's key about that box?
Well, now I smell everything. It's watertight. It's compact. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Keeps the scent in there.
I do that with a little flambeau box.
So you're gonna want your little dippets. You got your fingernail polish. Okay. Here's another thing you guys might. These Sally Hansen pins. Like I'm gonna show you what I do with this in a little bit if we have time. But this is a chartreuse pen. I have
Sally
red,
Hansen.
orange.
Who's Sally Hansen?
It's a fingernail polish company. So I got my reds. I have my flakes in here. So if I want to put a little flake on my crankbaits, my chartreuse fingernail polish. So everything's in this box that just stays in the boat. Okay.
Do you put nail polish on your crank a lot?
Yeah, we can talk about that. So like here, my spy baits. So I use this, I found these on Amazon. My buddy Epic Eric turned me onto these. They're cheap little just zipper pouches that you can buy. And if I have some, thought I had everything ready. Here we go. So they come in different sizes, guys. So, and I don't have the link. You just Amazon storage bags. You don't need those Bass Mafia plastic bags. You can get away with these. They're buying from the same place these guys are, China. And, instead of paying $15 a bag, you're spending $2. And they're very, very efficient at keeping your stuff stored. So here's my spy baits. Because I don't want to carry, a big box like this for my spy baits because I don't use a whole lot of colors, but I'm going to have them assorted in these bags by class. So you're going to have your 80s, your 90s, your heavier ones. They're all right there.
Why do you choose that method for spy baits with the treble hooks over like a classic hard box?
Because it's good question. Because I don't use a whole lot of colors. So if you look at these are the spin bait 80s. Those are all the colors I need. A perch color and a white color and maybe a ghost color. It's not that hard. If I want to grab that perch, you know what I mean? It's just, it's really, you just shake it till it comes out and there it is.
Yep.
It's not that bad. The reason why is because, again, I have to try to make as much room as I can. If I have another big box devoted to spy baits, that's another drop shot box. I might not, you know what I mean? This is it. This is it. Tiny. So
you should be throwing more spy baits.
Yes.
Who the heck was it? Oh, darn it. Russell Davis says Travis needs a smoke break. He's getting shaky. Rich, Travis online. Do you want to hit the message board? We're stacked up over here, Trav.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of rapid fire here. So let's just run through some questions. Jordan Yates wants to know, Travis, how do you organize your treble hooks?
All right, so here
we saw that box. There it is.
So of course, this one comes in the boat, and all I do is I have them divided by triple grips, 2, 4, and 6, straight shank 2, 4, and 6, feathered. Really, that's it. And then of course I have them on the pegs. That's just how I. That's
open up the box. Let's see it.
Are you telling me right now, a man who's got this many colors of baits and everything, you only have 3 different sizes of treble hooks?
Well, no, there's a couple different ones. You know, but
I didn't hear 5s or 1s or.
No, I got some 5s
okay.
and 6s in here. Yes.
Okay.
But not as many. I just want to make sure I got my 2, 4, and 6s. 2, 4, and 6 is going to pretty much cover you everywhere for every type of bait if you needed to. Of course, I have my specialty ones, but again, man, you're going to need a bigger box to carry more. And I like this small little compact deal.
All right, so Travis, on the same topic, what do you do with broken or old and used lures? Do you refurbish the pieces, or do you combine them on other lures?
Yeah, so, well, not really. I don't really try to refurbish things, but I keep another big plastic Bass Mafia bag like this. And like we're talking, you throw a swim jig and it ain't the right color in your mind, you throw it on the floor. At the end of the day, at the end of the week, you have a bunch of stuff. I put it in here, and I just keep loading it up. And then every 2 weeks or so, I come back here, and I take everything out. And then I have little cups. So every cup will have like your bullet weights, your miscellaneous hooks. And then when I'm in the garage rigging up for a tournament or a guide trip the next day, instead of going into a box to get your drop shot weights, I got that cup sitting right here with full of drop shot weights that I'm sure there's a size I can use. And so I just reuse what I had recycled, if you will.
Yeah, recycled.
All right, and Team No Fish wants to know if you carry a cordless vacuum in the boat with you.
Nope. Well, I carry one in the truck, but I do like the shop vacs, and I have a bunch of them. I try to run a vacuum at least every day. For me, it's just it's peace of mind. It makes me look productive. I like a nice carpet. This garage here is carpeted. I don't like to see fishing line and stuff laying there and gold flake from your tubes laying on the floor. I like to have it all cleaned.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like, don't you have like a bait that you caught a memorable fish in a tournament, or a rod? You don't use it anymore, but you caught a memorable fish. You don't keep any of that stuff around?
Oh yeah, I have it all up here. And then if I go to like Oneida, I have that head and popping Image Junior, which I'm only going to bring out on Oneida in the tournament. I'm going to pull it off the display and put it in the box for that event. Yes.
I'm sorry, what was that? A Poppin' Image Junior?
Yeah, man.
But the
I love that bait.
Yeah, dude, it's hard.
Yeah, I'm writing that down. We got to track it down.
Dude, I've caught a lot of big ones. I'm gonna pull that out this year.
That's
been
fine,
like 3 years.
Yeah, but it's not going to be the same, dude. It's different plastic, and just talk to Epic Eric about that. He'll tell you. So another thing. So, dude, we got so much to go through here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm loving it because
I could feel your passion for it, man.
So,
oh my God. Do you have like people to come over and help? You just like zone out on this all by yourself.
This is what I do, man. When I don't answer my phone call, this is what I'm doing.
I like it.
So a big bag here, guys. This is for all my chatterbaits, right? And so I have everything stored like here. If you need a 3/4 inch jackhammer, there it's labeled, and it's in these packages. So and it's everything. It's everything. 3/8 ounce chatterbaits. They're all here, ready to go. And I keep those in this bag, which just works for me. That's really, there's a lot of protection here, right? Because you can zip it, you can seal this, and then every bag in here is sealed as well. Yep. So I'm not going to get moisture if I take care of this and manage it. So I use these a lot.
Do you you know, after you get off, you know, off the road, you take your bags out and open them up, hang them, air dry them.
If they're if they got wet, I will. If they did, here's a cool thing, guys. This is my A-rig bag, dude. This is my A-rig bag, and it's the same deal. Everything
seems so small.
Everything's just ready to go. You were talking about your Shane A-rigs. There they are, dude.
Yeah.
All in bags.
Can you put them in there with baits on them?
You can, but I don't recommend it.
It's not ideal.
What do you do with ones that you've rigged? Do you have a method
I keep
for
them.
that?
The only ones that'll be rigged will typically be on my rod. You know what I mean? Like I won't have a bunch of them.
Yep.
So I don't. One thing, you know, you don't want to leave your Kitex on your A-rig in the rod locker for multiple days because there's salt in that plastic, and you're going to get some moisture, and you're going to have rusty hooks. So
That's right.
that's going to happen. But so I use these bags a lot. If I'm going out, let's say I have my main bags, and I'm thinking, oh, geez, you know, I should try this new Jackal or old Jackal. It's a Jackal eye shad. I'm going to put this in this bag. So here I have some Z baits, the bamboo bomber, in a cool color that I think is going to work on the Chesapeake. So this is my kind of experimental bag that I put my plastics that I want to try, that I may not be confident they're not like standard baits I'm going to throw, but I'm going to have a bag ready to go of baits that I want to try as well.
Travis, I use a catch-all in my boat. Like for things that occur to me that I might want to throw, I use the compartment behind my driver's seat.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's called the floor, right?
Yeah, no, this is for baits that are in the package. Like I see something that interests me, or you know, this could work. This bait I've been meaning to try, and I just throw it in there, and and my problem is I just keep stacking it up and stacking it up. And now when I try to find something, I got to go through all that mess.
You do at least once a week. Everything comes out of my boat for vacuuming and cleaning. Yes.
Good night.
So I go through the boat weekly. Absolutely. I wouldn't be able to survive without it. I have to. It's enjoyable. It's enjoyable for me to go out there and do that. It is.
That's so awesome. The Dave Manson, good friend of mine in Bash University, he would always be sure in between each cast he would wax the boat. You know? I think you guys are connected.
How about Charlie Hartley? I mean, who do you think would win?
Charlie Hartley.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. When I fished on the elites in 11 and 12, the only guy I seen at the car wash as much as me is Charlie Hartley. We were always there together.
I love it.
So another thing, your big equipment that you're going to carry in your boat, like this is an underwater camera. I'm going to use, I don't even know who makes this. This is a Plano, just a waterproof container to keep the camera in as well. So I have a lot of these containers.
Now, time out.
Yep.
Talk to me about the AccuView for a second.
Okay.
Where are you using it? Like up at 1,000 Islands, I imagine it has a lot of applications.
Yeah, you're using it pretty much everywhere. You know what? It's nice just to see what kind of grass that really is at the bottom, if you're curious.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only for looking for fish, but it's to help you learn your electronics a little bit better. It's for if I'm on a big school of fish on my graphs, and before I change color, I'm going to drop the camera down and see, are they sheephead or walleye or smallmouth before I get crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I need to know what I'm dealing with. If they're smallmouth, okay, let's go through the protocol to try to get these fish to bite.
Yeah.
If they're sheephead, you move on. So
how about down the Chesapeake in the stained water down there? Have you ever?
You'll be able to, when you get you'll get the camera just to see bottom content, not for fish.
Right.
You'll be able to, if you get that camera on the bottom, you'll get an image of what's there. But obviously, it's better in clear water. You know, licenses. We all travel across the country, so I have a little thing of all my licenses are right there. And here's the cool part, Pete. You're gonna maybe appreciate this. Well, not only that, bro.
The question is, how do you label that?
Well,
that's so funny.
Like there's the Maryland.
Is
license.
your label maker label?
Oh my gosh.
What's this? Insurance.
Oh my God.
Wait, but there's more. New York. All right, I'm extreme. But
well, I sat on the James River 2 years ago leading the tournament.
Trying to look for your license?
I could not take off because I did not have my insurance.
There they all are.
I did not have my insurance labeled properly, and I couldn't find it.
Well, here's another thing. Like, this is key stuff that I keep in my boat in a waterproof container and then in those bags. So I'm going to have a notepad, waterproof notepad with a waterproof pen, because how many times are you networking with people and you need to write something down? So I have that right here. So this is it can be raining and I can still write on this pad. I got my portable battery charger in here, my CB radio, spare keys. I have keys to my truck, a spare set right in here too, in case you can't make it to the launch ramp. So everything is protected in this watertight storage container, ready to go.
Do you have any advice for normal people?
Where do you keep your astronaut license?
All right, real quick, because I don't want to forget this. We got to talk about rod storage and how we manage our rods on the water. Okay.
I agree. I honestly agree.
Good. So
how you doing it?
So I don't use the rod tubes. I take those out of the boat. I use sleeves.
Yes.
Okay. For my
too.
spinning rods, I use all black, and then for my bait casters, all blue. So when they're in there, I know exactly what they are. Now you're going to ask, well, you got different size spinning rods. How do you know which one's which? Well, funny you should ask. Here it is. So on the butt of these, 2 rings means medium, and 1 ring means medium light. Okay. Plus you can put your drop shot weight in there. And then of course, I like to preserve things and things get bounced around. I use these reel gloves, whatever they are, for my spinning rods. Before I leave for an event, every rod will be rigged and ready for what I think I'm going to need. And they'll be wrapped in this. Now, throughout the week, am I putting that back? No. But before a tournament, all the rods I don't think I'm going to use, they're going to have that on there. They're going to be put back. So maybe that's why I'm up until midnight most nights rigging, because I'm doing all this crazy stuff, making sure I got labels on my fishing license. But so for a bait caster, so here's a St. Croix, here's a Mojo bass rod. Same thing. I'm going to put a reel cover on it to protect your bait casting reels. Okay. You don't want these bounce around boat rash. It's going to protect the rod locker.
You actually take the time to put them on?
I do.
Everybody uses the rod covers or the rod sleeves. Few like the co-anglers I've seen come in the boat and use the reel cover.
I do, because when you have your rod holder out, or your rod holders are out, and it's just a bare rod storage, you can shove 40 rods, 50 rods in there, and you need to protect them when they're banging around.
Justin,
right?
Do you get in somebody's boat with rod sleeves on?
No, a lot of times they'll fly off. In my experience,
and then you take them off, and then you got to put them somewhere.
Yeah, I don't like that. I travel with them in my truck in my front seat.
Yeah,
they're there.
Yeah.
And if I travel to an event and stay overnight, I bring like 20 rods, because you don't know what kind of draw you're gonna get
right
as a co-angler. So I'll bring like 20 rods. So when I'm driving, they'll bounce around together. I'll keep them there. But when I show up and get in somebody's boat, I don't.
Yeah,
I take everything off.
But Brian, if you're going to take your rod tubes out, you have to use rod sleeves in order to keep things. You can't. You're not pulling out a rod.
Yeah.
You have to have it. If it's in a rod locker, you have to have a sleeve.
Yeah.
You don't want to treble hook getting in.
Here's what I forgot to mention. This.
Grizz. That's what I do. I do half and half.
Yeah.
Yep.
The rods that I'm using.
The rods you're going to use. The rods you're going to use the next day. Maybe don't put in the sleeve. Put them on top and ready to go. I want to mention this at the start of the show, and it just hit me because BTC keeps talking about, questioning, my thoroughness when it comes to organization. BTC and I went up to the St. Lawrence River back in November.
Great shows, by the way. It was awesome.
But listen, I got ready, dude. I was ready for weeks in advance. I had all my rods prepped, all the baits. I'm thinking, oh my God, it's cold water. I get to use blade baits, spoons, all this stuff, dude. And I'm working on my tackle for that's what gets me excited about the trip, is sitting here thinking about it and working on my baits. And I'm expecting BTC was like pretty excited too. And I'm like, man, it's gonna be awesome. He shows up in my driveway. Well, it was after a Nike Live show, I believe, late.
After a day on the water filming with the YouTube guy, Ike, and then an Ike Live show.
Yeah.
And then
I
made it to you at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
At 11 o'clock at night. And he's like, here, go grab some stuff and start putting the boat. And first of all, I'm thinking, well, it's kind of dark where we're at now. I would have wished you would have picked a better place with lighting so we can get organized and get all your stuff laid out properly. And I have a compartment empty for you. I have areas for all your baits. And dude didn't know nothing. He didn't have baits rigged on his rods. His rods were shoved in the truck, in the back of the truck, with all these tools and stuff bouncing around on them. Without rod sleeves, and I pull him out. Dude, I didn't even, and at that point, I didn't say nothing to him, but in my mind, I felt sick to my stomach how someone could be that passionate about bass fishing and treat their equipment this way and not have a care in the world about it. And I was sick to my stomach, and it took me a couple hours on the way up for me to finally talk to him about it. Because BTC, I was shocked, dude.
Travis, where do you keep your schedule for the psychiatrist?
This is what helps me stay sane.
I knew.
I get it.
I saw what I was up against.
That's cool.
When I went to put my stuff in the back of his truck, and everything was like, it was just like luggage, and it had a certain way it was stacked, and it fit in a certain manner, like Tetris, you know. And I walked up, swung the door open, just like threw jackets that were in luggage. I was like, oh man, and I saw you just kind of lock up. I was like,
you did. You put some stuff in the wrong spot, dude. That's a whole nother show. I mean, how to pack for a tournament or traveling a trip, you know, as far as rain gear and extra stuff and gloves and different weather conditions. And then, I mean, if this blows your mind, we got to talk at not tonight, it's going to take too long, but about how to prepare for a tournament.
Trav, I got one for you that does go with tonight, and it's what tools do you carry in your boat? Do you have any special pliers, any braid cutters, and how do you store these kinds of tools and equipment?
So all my tools are going to say.
JB Rose for asking that question. That's a unique question. It's pretty good. You just won yourself a Gills Gear $25 gift card. Congratulations!
Woo! That's awesome.
Right.
So all my tools are in that same green box, okay? And they're all going to be the tools I'm going to need. So, you know, like my power poles, I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but I know exactly what size bolt that is I'm going to need. So I'm going to have my halves and 7/16 and 5/8 and just know, you know, what I'm going to need to have with me. So everything's in here, hammers, pliers, Allen wrenches, everything you're going to need for an issue on the waters in this box. And, you know, that brings up another point. It's not really tackle prep, but it's boat prep and understanding your boat. I know for me, I suck at tools, but I can get by. There's no way. So I have all this stuff back here for my new boat, you know, all these electronics and mounts and different mounts for this and that. There's no way I could install it, but at the dealer, we have a relationship, and not everyone can do this. I understand that. But when you're rigging your boat, if they're going to rig your boat on a specific day, you really need to be there for the whole day to see how it's done. Because if you have an issue on the water, you want to know how to get to that cord or, you know, where that battery or whatever the case. You need to be intimate about your boat as well. And so I really spend a lot of time in their face when we're rigging boats too, so I can troubleshoot on the water to the best of my abilities, which sucks anyways. But again, you got to control what you can control when you're out there.
Yeah, that is great advice. And as a first-year boat owner, this past year, walking through that, I mean, that is awesome advice. Like coming from my experience, I would just say, hey, keep some really good friends around you.
Yeah,
because that saved my butt. My hot foot totally got disconnected, the throttle cable or whatever. And it was in the middle of a BFL, and I had 0 fish at noon at this point. And I mean, I didn't know what to do. Had I done what Travis said, I would have fixed it in literally 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I kept some good friends around me, called somebody, and he was able to say, hey, check this. Okay, now go do this. And you know, that helped me. But that's even better advice.
Yeah, you gotta be familiar. You know, with me, I had a good mechanic friend that, you know, I ended up fishing his grass bed when I shouldn't have, and he isn't talking anymore. So I got nobody. So I have to do I have to go through this and try to figure it out. What can I say?
Hey, it's unfortunate.
That grass bed's in Furnace Bay, by the way.
Moved in on. That's private water over there, Travis. You ought to know better than go in there.
I know.
That's crazy. But good advice. The thing a lot of people don't know is when you're traveling out on tour, you really are a part-time mechanic, and you know all kinds of things will break down, and you have to learn how to troubleshoot them.
Yes.
But my claim to fame. Shout out to North Jersey Marine. That doesn't, you know, they retired, but they talked me through how to bleed my hydraulic steering system with 2-stroke oil in a derby floating out in the middle of Kentucky Lake. I was able to bleed my brakes. I thought I was Rich Leadbeater for a second, you know.
Oh man.
And I did it, and I was able to continue and go fishing. But there's a lot. It's a lot of mechanics that go down between the outboard, the trolling motor, the electronics.
Pete, and it's not only that, but it's when you travel, it's having an extra transducer, it's having extra wires, having extra trolling motor in your truck, it's having an extra prop, it's having all that stuff. Again, everything you can control, you better control.
Tournament preparation is a whole different animal, isn't it?
Man, no kidding, Pete. And that you make another good point. My emphasis: if I actually jump into the Bassmaster Opens next year or something, I'm not doing it unless I'm traveling with our pal Alabama Mike Reed, who we all know.
We all need an Alabama Mike Reed in our life.
Oh man. He's an aircraft mechanic for the Air Force, but we all know he spun off the road in the ice storm heading to Toledo Bend in Texas, and the guy's truck axle breaks. And long story short, he knew exactly what to do between getting a new one from the salvage yard, breaking down the back of his truck. Thankfully, his boat was okay. And he's back on the road in 3 hours. So props to you, Mike Reed. You're the most badass I know when it comes to that.
Yeah, you got to have one of those in the bunch. It's awesome. You know, my fishing club, we used to have a mechanic that could fix anything, and it's amazing. And if I needed, you know, Travis, I guarantee you, if you traveled with me, I'd be like, guaranteed, because I'm that guy. Dude, I can't find my 3/16 ounce drops out weights. Can I borrow some? I will be hitting you up when we're on the road. You probably get that a lot, I imagine.
I do, yeah. But you know what? It's I don't mind. I don't mind helping. A lot of times people don't have, you know, it takes years of experience and knowing what to bring on the road, and in the confidence, you know, to have a complete system like this. It just didn't happen overnight. And again, I enjoy doing it, so it's not work to me. If you saw this garage earlier this week, I just got back from Wisconsin, and I had all my packages arrive and stuff, and I ordered a lot of baits while I was on the road and prior to just leaving. It was a mess, and it was awesome being able to open up all that and put everything where it belongs and knowing exactly what I have. You know, going into this season, I feel like I'm a lot more prepared, but I'll still spend hundreds of more hours out in this garage over, you know, anywhere else.
God bless you.
That's awesome.
No, I enjoy it too. I get what you're saying. I just don't have the time, but I'm jealous.
I got another question I want to hit here on the board, and it's another one that's pretty unique. Howie Range wants to know, Travis, how do you keep all this equipment secured in your truck as far as movement goes, and then also protecting yourself from theft in your truck and boat?
All right, good point. So what was the first question?
How do you keep it secure, like as far as movement, bouncing around, all that stuff?
Okay.
And then also, how do you protect it from theft?
Sure. Well, honestly, because I carry so much stuff, everything's packed really tight and snug. So things aren't shifting the bed. I don't have just one bend just sliding over. No, I couldn't put more stuff if I wanted to in there. So I just try to securely pack things up. You know, here I keep my boat outside. It's not too bad. I'm right outside. It's a pretty secure neighborhood. I do keep my boat off site sometimes when I guide. So I do have like a trail camera set up next to it. So I'll be able to get pictures and video of anything kind of crazy happening at the time.
Have you ever captured Sasquatch?
No, just raccoons and cats and maybe a couple crackheads here and there, but nothing serious. You know, Maybe. And then inside the vehicle, I have a dual camera system that looks 360, which also sends me a single signal. So if somebody's messing with your vehicle, of course, you got to look at insurance too. I was underinsured for many years when it comes to your gear, not just your homeowners, but also when you're traveling. For me, I have $25,000 just in rods and reels with me.
Mm-hmm.
So if those are gone, I mean, most insurance companies, first of all, it was actually enjoyable. I inventoried on spreadsheets and took pictures of every piece of equipment I have. And I sent it to my insurance company. And I have a private folder as well with it. So I have track of everything. And then I keep track of all the new product coming in as well. But you're not going to stop a theft in the, if it's going to happen,
Not with
it's
a
going to
spreadsheet.
So yeah, so you're going to want, obviously you want to stay at nicer places, well-lit places, and you want to be, I get lazy too. I don't always put the boat cover on. That's just an added, they have to get through the cover to get, yeah. Does it work? If they want to steal it, they want to steal it. So you just want to make sure you're properly protected with insurance, because you're not going to stop a theft. It's bound to happen, For sure. It's not a matter of, if it's when.
Yeah. Go ahead, Justin.
I was just gonna say, and if you've got like discontinued baits or special stuff like in boxes, man, you got to take that in and put it on the bedside table next to you. My Mega Bass box, it's going to sleep with me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like there's too many stuff you can't even get anymore in that box. Like a bunch of old wooden flat sides, stuff like that. You got to take that.
Pete, you've been doing this for a while. Have you ever had any issues?
The worst issue I had was just a crazy issue where they broke into the bed of my truck, the cap that I had on my truck. They busted the window and they grabbed a laptop briefcase. They thought a laptop was sitting there on top like a dummy. I left it there, and it wasn't a laptop. It had all my maps and notes for 10 years of fishing out on tour, and that's what they got. And they left all the thousands of dollars of fishing gear in the truck. Wow. They left all that stuff because they didn't have a value for it. But the weird thing is that we're starting to see that in certain places in the country where they're recognizing the value of fishing gear, and they're starting to, take advantage of that. So, we got to take some action.
Well, that's why I have that camera. It's for boat ramps. It's when I'm on the water, not at that ramp.
Yeah.
It'll give me, they could take the camera still, but I at least got their picture on my phone. I got their face.
It's a deterrent for sure if they see it.
Now, we all know that squirrels are attracted to nuts. What steps do you take to keep the nuts away or the squirrels away from you? I mean, your boat.
Yeah, this is important for Pete.
I honestly don't get squirrels in my boat. I've never had an issue. No chipmunks, no squirrels, no nothing.
Nothing.
Damn, they got into mine. They ripped my seats apart, Travis. You would. I don't know what you would do because I had a meltdown. I can imagine you'd probably be worse than me.
Jeez, I never heard of such a thing.
No.
I always thought that was like older boats, like from like the 80s that got that special material and they parked behind the shed in the back. Dude, 40.
My basket had 5 hours on it, and my seats were ripped to shreds.
Like in a residence, just a normal
residential area. We have killer squirrels in my neighborhood.
Damn.
Yeah.
Or wait a minute, but are there less squirrels in Mount Laurel, New Jersey than there were before, Pete?
I do everything that I can to make that happen.
Yeah, maybe stop rubbing your seats with peanut butter as soon as you get them.
Maybe. Hey, we got Riz. Are there any IMs? Because I want to get into a Bass U battle.
All right. Yeah, I got one more that I'm going to go to from Grattan Fishing, and again, this is another one. This is going to be another Gills card recipient here. Grattan Fishing wants to know: do you have any secret hacks to prevent salted baits from collecting moisture while they're in your boxes for multiple days?
No, I don't. I mean, listen, you can buy those little. You can buy people. When I make a video about my tackle prep, they'll send their thoughts and they're valuable points, but they'll say to buy those packs, you know, those moisture packs or rust things and stick them in your boxes. That don't help when your boat fills up with water, which happens all the time with me. And so, yes, your Senkos and your salted baits, they're going to blow up. They're going to get that nasty salt residue on the tray. The best thing you can do is once you notice it, to drain the water out and dry your plastics that night. If you forget about it, you got to take all those plastics out, salvage what you can, and clean the box out and just when those soft plastics, I don't care. You know, I have like these drop shot boxes. So this is my drop shot worm box, and this is just my drop shot smallmouth box. So these are baits I use quite a bit. So if you look at the drop shot worm box, you can see a lot of tidal water colors and stuff in there. But if this gets wet, yeah, like you know, take this little curly tail. It's gonna get nasty, and it's gonna change the color of that. It's gonna look milky. That's the word I was looking for earlier. It's gonna turn your plastics milky. There's nothing. You just gotta try to keep it dry. You know, the Chesapeake stuff, non-big water, you should be fine all year long with this. It's when you're spearing those big waves and you have to take a shop vac in your compartments to get the water out before the next day. That's when
one.
I do. Yeah.
All right. One last question from the board here from Vampires Anonymous. And he wants to know, how do you keep your blood snacks organized?
Yeah. So I'll have, I'll label, not with a label maker, but just a Sharpie. Okay. And I'll put like lunch, dinner, and then I'll put them in the main cooler. And then for each day of practice, I'll just go into the main cooler in my truck and then grab my lunch for that day. You know, breakfast might be hard-boiled eggs, a protein shake, and then, you know, some type of protein bar. And I'll have them all packed before I leave, so I'm not running around trying to find out where I'm going to eat. And I don't eat a lot when I'm fishing. It's just a couple nuts, things like that. So I try to keep things. And I do keep another thing when you are fishing, I don't have any with me, but I keep the big jugs of water, the half. They're actually like a tumbler, but a half gallon. I keep 2 half-gallon tumblers in my boat every day. And that's where I get my water supply. So it's not just plastic cups, and it's that. It keeps your water cold too.
I prefer the boiling hot gallon of water just sitting right next to me.
Sitting there.
Yeah.
In the summer.
It tastes like plastic.
It's like multiple days old.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and I have to keep it that way because then I do keep a smaller cooler because my main cooler normally is full of ice for the fish, especially in the summer. So I really don't have room in my main cooler of my boat, even though it's a large cooler, to keep my stuff. So I have a smaller cooler for all that. But
very cool.
Yeah.
Pete, let's go.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know the vampire thing, but
well, Pete, they pick on me because they don't think I sleep. And the true fact is I'm not sucking blood. I'm working and preparing and thinking about fishing.
How many hours of sleep a night do you get?
It depends.
Sometimes
I try.
none.
I've gone multiple days. I mean, if you're at the Bassmaster Classic and you have a Nike Live party on Sunday night, you're not sleeping. You just suck it up and deal with it. I take advantage of sleep when I can, though.
Travis, how many hundreds of years old are you?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I go by past lives. I know 2 past lives. You know, of course, I died on the Edmund Fitzgerald and in the Civil War. But it's a long time, bro. I'm an old soul.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Take it away.
What was bass fishing like in the 1700s?
We had a lot of cane poles and worms. We didn't have electronics, you know.
All right, we're entering 2021, and I don't know if you've ever sat in on a Bass U battle and what we do here, Travis, but you were in, and I don't even know if he knows, but you were taking on Rich Leadbeater tonight.
All right, let's do it.
In a Bass U battle.
Spicy.
Okay, so what are the rules, man?
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to
Can't fish on the flats.
I'm going to give you a condition.
Okay.
And you are going to give me your best solution to win that tournament. Riz is going to do the same.
You're the judge?
Me, JK, and Stockler all weigh in on who wins that battle. We're going to give 3 battles. So
let's go with it.
It's even. First one. It's early
Travis,
May.
it's your oldest by a lot.
You can choose to answer or you
Okay.
can pass and
Oh.
let Riz answer first.
All right.
Whatever you like to do.
This is awesome. This is a cool game, man.
Where it's early May on the Chesapeake Bay, the grass is starting to come up. The water temperature is warming. The bite is booming. How are you going to win that tournament?
Can I ask more questions on the scenario?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I'm in the pass.
You're gonna pass.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Do I get
put Riz
practice?
out there.
Do I have practice days for this tournament, or am I going in blind?
No, it's a derby day, man. You got your prep in, you're ready to go.
Okay. I mean, that's it's pretty straightforward for me. I'm going to get out into whatever area of the flat that I've found the, best population of fish that are relating to the grass. I'm going to put the trolling motor on about 7. I'm going to get to slinging. Every time I get a bite, I'm going to drop a waypoint, and I'm going to put the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out what they're relating to and figure out how to get as many bites in that tournament as I can, and trust that on a body of water like the Chesapeake Bay, if I can figure out how to get the most bites, I'm going to get the most big bites in the same day as well, and that's how I'm going to win the tournament.
All right. Travis, I'm passing that to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to have the same setup as Riz, actually. I'm going to definitely have chatterbaits on the boat. I'm going to have a 3/8, a half ounce. The half ounce will be rigged up on fluorocarbon. The 3/8 will be a little bit heavier on braid in case I do get into some thicker grass. I'm going to have some DT6s, DT10s on the deck, a small square bill, a 1.5 and a 1.0. I'm also going to throw a Japanese Blitz crankbait. That'll be tied up. I'm going to have 2 drop shot rods ready to go with some type of floating worm that's going to be more vertically in the water column. I don't want to sink that time of year because we might have some spawning fish. I'm going to have a tube tied on with an exposed hook tube. I'm also going to have a big TRD tied on. And Riz didn't know this, but that night before the event, we had a bunch of rain, and the Susquehanna River actually got super, super high and dirtied up the flats. Now, I have many, many years of experience targeting fish that spawn on hard cover on the Chesapeake Bay. So knowing that the flats are bust and it's totally dirt, I'm going to go and start throwing my crankbaits on some key rock piles. I'm going to be using like a demon color, fire tiger, and I'm going to work maybe 5 or 6 casts on each of these 5 to 8 rock pile spots based on the tide, of course. Of course, we have a high tide in the morning, so it's perfect. I'm going to get up there. I'm going to probably bust up 3 to 4 really good bass right away. I'm going to scream. You're going to hear me on the flat screaming. And then I'm going to go in to work some hard cover with a drop shot. And I'm going to use that floating worm, and I'm going to pick up probably a good 3 to 4 solid fish with maybe 1 pushing 6. I'm going to come to the weigh-in. I'm going to tie up on the far side of the Naughty Goose like I always do when I have a good bag. And I'm going to sit there and wait until the very end, bring my fish out, and see what happens.
Excellent. Amazing, actually. That's,
who are you trying to convince there, us or yourself?
I'm gonna judge first. Riz is getting after it in his wheelhouse, doing what he does. Travis with tremendous detail and complexity. That's a 5-point deduction. And moving into the fact that there's rain and the flats are destroyed, and we're giving this one to Riz. That's my vote. Riz wins day 1 for me. How about you? Who's next? JK, you want to take it up?
Yeah, I'll take it. And I do have some experience on the flats. Riz did not give me any information. He gave me like the strategy, which is cool, man. Like you're a winner. We know that. But like, come on, dude. Are you withholding baits? Like Travis, totally told us everything out on his deck. And here's what Travis did say. And I know that Japanese Blitz he's talking about, that thing freaking catches them. And I know the color. I'll let you guys decide if you want to share the color of the Chesapeake Bay, so I won't throw shade on you. But that's how much fish head I am. I do know the freaking color of that Blitz. That is a badass bait there. And then the drop shot thing, if there's one thing I know, Greg De Palma kind of cut his teeth with that thing. So I loved the over information. I'm not going to buy into the Susquehanna River things. Like I know there's some deep seated stuff there, but yeah, I'm going to go with Travis on this one, mainly because of the details on the baits.
And that was an overcomplicated assessment, Justin, but thank you. And,
it was good though.
We got the battle
Yeah,
of
good.
keep
It
it
was
simple or analyze.
Yeah.
BTC, you're the tiebreaker. Who wins?
Yeah. Sorry, Rich. And it was, I think, Rich this is his first battle. And he's, this next question, he's going to come a little bit more prepared. But I didn't get any detail. It's just a basic strategy. There were no baits. Didn't know we were throwing a trap or a chatterbait. What exactly we were looking for was just real basic. And,
my guess,
Travis went the other way and really, really brought it, which was highly entertaining.
Just out there by the 30 other boats is where you'll find Riz. Just look for the 30 other boats.
Oh, that's not true. That's a shot
Did
across
you see
the
me
bow, Riz.
all spring last year?
I got with Travis on day one here.
Yeah, I think you got bonus points for busting balls there, Travis. All right, Travis takes battle 1. All right, we're going to get into battle 2, which is going towards what you kind of alluded to. Spring rains are happening on the flats, and we're going with the flats here, guys, because these are 2 flats experts. And this is the Chesapeake Bay, the upper Chesapeake. We got a local spring rain that's coming up the East Coast, and it's just on the East Coast, and all the local creeks, the little creeks, are muddy and running hard. And it's April as well. It's April. I'm sorry. We were in May before. This is pre-spawn. April. What are you going to do? And this goes to Riz. You can go or you can defer.
I'll defer.
Perfect. So the creeks are definitely filling up with muddy water is what you're saying. That's going to, and it's April, so there could be some fish moving up spawning. If they have moved up, especially in the smaller cuts and places like that, that warm water or that cold water is going to knock them down a little bit. And so it's going to hurt me to say this, but I may bail on that plan, which would be to fish hard cover. Okay. I'm actually going to go out in that newly emerging grass in Furnace Bay, which as well as the flats, I'm going to watch the tide. There's going to be some areas that'll still have cleaner water, but I'm going to throw a 3/8 ounce, probably a War Eagle, single bladed Colorado spinner bait, a big bladed Colorado, chartreuse and white with a gold blade. And I'm going to slowly, I guess, just reel it slow enough through the sparse grass that would be there. And then I'd also go into Furnace, and I'm going to be throwing that around some laydowns and some wood where those fish were setting up or starting to set up to spawn. After I don't catch anything in 3 hours, I'm going to head back to the Northeast. I'm going to pick up a big TRD in black and blue and go flip every dock I know and hopefully come home with a limit.
All right. You're going to go after Furnace, the flats, emergent grass. If all else fails, we're going back to the Northeast.
End of April.
This is April.
Was this end of April or mid-April or early April?
I didn't specify. Let's say mid-April.
Mid-April. Okay. All right. I'm going in a different direction, and here's why. Because if we have a giant storm coming up the East Coast, especially in a year like this, by that time in April, the chances of you finding very much good grass in an area of the Chesapeake Bay that other people aren't going to be populating with you in as well are slim to none. Especially in, if it's a year like this, that we've had a lot of rain, we've had a lot of snow, it's cold, it's dirty. The chances of finding much of that good milfoil that those big schools of fish are using is really slim to none. So here's how I'm going to go about it. I'm going to fish hard cover, but I'm going to play a numbers game on productive docks, productive hard areas, And instead of trying to get away from the moving cold water, I'm going to go right into the face of it. I'm going to try and target only the biggest fish on the system. I'm going to look for 5 bites in a day. I'm going to go with probably like a half-ounce double white-bladed spinnerbait, half-ounce white chatterbaits with a pearl body trailer, something big that's really going to illuminate in that dirty moving water. And I'm going to target fish that are set up in current breaks, feeding, utilizing the rain runoff that's created current in these areas. And these are fish that are looking to eat and feed. And I'm just going to play the numbers game, try and hit as many productive spots as I can in the day, and try and bank that I get 5 bites, and those 5 bites will be hopefully the 5 biggest fish of the day.
Wow. Riz, you have stepped up your game. And, you know, I think you're inspired by Travis and his approach to, you know, the details of the situation. And this is a tricky one from you guys, because I've seen the muddy water locally muddy up, you know, Furnace Bay, going into the muddy spring rain. I don't know about that. I'm conflicted. I see Travis winning this contest by getting up into the stable Northeast, finding clear water with his finesse strategy, and digging out of this tournament. I'm giving this win to Travis.
Wow.
BTC, you want to go next?
Justin?
Yeah, I'll go. So I'm listening to Travis, and as a co-angler, man, I appreciate the man who will go get his limit. Because as a co-angler, that's how you win. And you just you take your medicine. And I've got Travis pegged for about Chesapeake Bay limit, filling in with that big TRD. He's got about 12 and 3/4 pounds on a tough day, you know? And Riz, man, that's the one thing I resonate with the boater side. When I fish, I will not fish that way. I'm like you. I want to go for the win. And man, you stood in the face of these tough conditions, but you didn't catch your limit today. No, there's no way. But your 3 on the Chesapeake Bay just went 14.5 pounds. So I'm going Riz.
Oh, that's a good assessment. I like it. BTC, it's down to you again, man.
That's a tough one. I mean, the one thing that I like, the thing that I liked the most that I heard was the Northeast with the big TRD. That was the one thing that I felt seemed the most reliable. How much boat traffic and other competitors are going to affect them, don't know. Rich talked about getting away from everybody. Man, that can do it too. And we saw a few wins come from other areas of the river this past year. You know, it could definitely go either way. I did see some good stuff running some other areas. It's a toss up, and for the sake of the tiebreaker, I'm going with Rich, so we can do this again.
All right.
What?
Let's go.
I thought you were going to go with Travis
You
for
know,
sure.
I could also see it going the other way for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
I don't. All right. It's tied 1. Riz, congratulations.
3 for 14, baby.
We're going
I
back
was
to
thinking
it.
more like 5 for 22.5, but
I love that too.
Not in them conditions.
Eight, right? Those conditions are tough. But April is the time for the giant bags a lot on the Chesapeake.
All right, Pete.
All right, here we are. We saw this condition. We saw the Bassmasters canceled in the summer. They had a massive rain event that took place over all of the northern part of the country.
No, that was biblical.
Boo!
Which buried the Susquehanna River wash.
Biblical.
Mud was everywhere. The river was high. Trees were everywhere. The flats were taken out of the equation. The tournament was canceled.
Boo!
But they could have been won. And a lot of guys had a great practice. and we're ready to try to win
Guys had a
that
great
tournament.
practice.
And how would you guys win the tournament in that condition? Travis, it goes back to you to answer or defer.
Well, I'm going to answer that because just the week prior, Pete Glusick won a big team event there with 24 pounds out of the Northeast. There was 200 boats, and pretty much everyone had a limit. And so there is a ton of released fish right in the slow no wake. And so I'm going to remember that, but I'm also going to remember that in practice, I ran almost to Baltimore and got way back in some backwater creeks where I was able to float my boat over with a push pole and get into a clear water pond situation where I was able to take a shaky head with a Zoom trick worm and green pumpkin, and I dyed the tail chartreuse, and I was able to get about 16 and a half pounds in practice without sticking them.
Wrong color.
So I'm going to run down there. I'm going to go grab my 18 to 20 plus pounds, and then I'm going to come back and go deal with those release fish if I have some time.
Interesting. Running completely away
Good strategy.
from the scenario, and that's a interesting strategy. Riz, what do you have?
All right. If I'm faced with this situation, here's how I'm going to win the tournament. I'm going to go as far back into I'm going to go as far back into the major the major rivers that I can get into, with one goal is if this is a multi-day event, I'm going to get as far back into these areas as I possibly can, try and find areas of these major rivers that have a population of fish. On day one, I might not wear them out, but by day 2, by day 3, I'm going to start to understand these areas. I'm going to start to figure out where these fish live, what they're relating to. And by the 3rd day of the event, the water's going to start cleaning up just a little bit for me, and they're going to really bite good. And I'm going to bring in a big bag and come from about a 5-pound deficit on the last day of the tournament to win.
Whew. It's interesting answers on both. The correct answer, however, is running up to the Conowingo Dam.
And I knew that, but I didn't want to say it.
You know it?
I knew that because I've talked to Pete, but of course I'm not gonna use that one. That'd be a layup.
Did you hear about that, Travis? Tommy Biffle went up to the Conowingo, ran up there during this condition, and unloaded on him right at the dam.
I do not recommend going anywhere near that dam in a fiberglass bass boat. I don't care how much water.
I also want to keep my lower unit, so.
Yep. Well, yeah, that's amazing. For those of you that are listening, don't know, it's all rocks. It's treacherous, but Tommy's a notorious cowboy, and was he ran up there. At least that's the story. I don't know if it's true.
No, there was boats. There was boats running up there, but I don't think that if they knew what they were running over, if you don't know what you don't know, you just go.
Right.
I think that's what was happening.
Know what you don't know, you just go.
If you don't see it, it's not there.
Yes.
You just go.
Just go.
That's crazy.
That's pretty good.
Crazy. No, honestly, man, great call. I know there's some great clear water down, in other parts of the bay that'll be stable, unaffected by this massive Susquehanna River wash. I also happen to know that during that practice period, Ish went to the backs of a creek that just felt like he was going to win the tournament doing that. So God almighty, you guys both have good answers. And I can't really pick. So I'm picking Riz because I just feel like I like Ish's, I know Ish's, what he told me. And I think that's the right answer to the equation. So I'm going with Riz.
Well, I feel like I remember what Ike was on, and I feel like he was on something good, but nobody had anything close. So that information about Ish is interesting, but You know, Riz, I should really penalize you for withholding bait and technique information out of the story again. But I'm gonna I'm gonna assume the best. I'm gonna assume the best in you. And
you got to assign the penalty.
No. Okay, I'm still gonna penalize, but I know Riz, and I know that he's gonna get more casts than the man with the shaky head, and so I gotta go Riz. I'm going power fishing in that condition.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable!
Well,
BTC,
you have a winner.
You're a
It
lame
doesn't
duck.
matter.
You're a lame duck voter, but who are you picking?
Well, I mean, with the conditions, why weren't we throwing gooseberry or black? You know, I mean, come on, Travis.
I was in a Clearwater pond. BT.
No, there was.
I was in a Clearwater pond full of fish.
Hey, listen. All right?
Full of them, dude.
Hey, I'm the producer. Of
I
this
didn't
show. You
need
don't yell
all-
at me. This ain't your show where you get to bully me all night.
Oh man.
All right, fine. I'll give you that. So it's a gamble to run down there. The river's full of debris, and it's a long run. Maybe it pays off for you. Coming back to the Northeast at the end of the day in an event that size is irrelevant. There's already a million boats been hammering it all day, so I took that out of the equation. But it don't matter. My vote don't matter. So and Rich, details.
I mean,
details.
I mean,
Rich,
BTC.
I
I
did
think
get pretty
you know.
good details. I said it's going to
just-
clear up as it goes.
I
I'm
hollered
gonna
at
learn the
Travis, so
area.
I had to holler at you too.
Oh, hold up,
Okay.
That's
BTC.
all
We're
that was.
talking about the Northeast. I know Pete Glusick was just up there beating him up. He won the tournament. There's a lot of boats. There's a lot of pressure. But you've been with me, BTC. Do I not say this is the lineup for the crankbait that you
I
need to
know,
cast?
You do.
And you
do.
bust a six?
Oh, you know what, Travis? You got my vote. Didn't matter.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Well
being
lobbied.
the guy
Well lobbied.
who's out of town there. I'm going with more casts. You know, but the run and the shaky head slow fishing got me. Maybe maybe that shouldn't, but I just don't know.
Fair enough.
That was a good battle. It could have gone either way. It went Riz. And that's the way it went in 2020.
But
We'll see
the
what
good
happens
thing
in
is-
2021.
Yes, the good
You
thing
know?
is Travis and Rich are going to have a couple head-to-head events out there.
I love it.
All right.
1-on-1, baby. Let's do it.
You guys
What
should.
up? What
You
up?
should do it.
Are you going to be participating in this Johnny Morris thing, Travis?
He
What's-
can't. He fished on the elites.
Yeah, so 6 figures, 5,000, and elite. They don't let you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, pretty much everything about that thing.
I mean,
sucks.
Travis, did you see where they have that thing launching from?
Yeah, probably. It would be a perfect scenario. I'm assuming it's further south, right?
It's like Baltimore.
Yeah, it's a good place
Yeah.
to take a date for crab cakes.
It would be.
Crazy.
I would love it. I would love to be able to fish that event because there's 2 strategies. I think there's some really good fishing that a lot of people don't know about that far down on the Chesapeake.
True.
But I also think so. You got to be. Here's what I mean. You have to have a specific boat brand, right? You're going to get people from. You're going to get your local. You know, there's 10, 15 guys that do some damage on the Chesapeake every weekend. Some of those guys are not going to be able to participate. So that's going to leave some things wide open for some of the guys that would have that ability and maybe be able to move back up into the Northeast and the flats and do some damage without all the pressure that you normally have during a normal event. That's my thoughts.
I think the
Do you
SEC
know-
needs to get involved and there's some forward going
Are
on.
you aware of waters below the launch that are good fisheries down there that guys could get to? I'm not familiar with that part of the bay.
Yes, I am. There is a handful of places. I've ran past that bridge before in a tournament. I forgot what the bridge is called.
From
What's
the
that?
tournament you launched out of the Northeast?
Yes.
Goodness gracious. What time of year was it?
August.
Wow.
September.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's fish down there, guys.
Yeah, that's
Interesting.
Correct.
Yeah,
What is that
fascinating.
bridge called?
It's Route 50.
Okay.
Route 50.
Yeah, I had to fill up. I remember that.
Ish tried to run to the Potomac one year.
Uh-huh. I believe it.
He's always hating on the bay. The bay finally delivered a good practice for him, and they canceled the tournament.
That's what he gets.
Yeah. Get for casting shade on the upper
Karma.
bay. Well, it's great. It's great, Travis. Thanks so much for sharing all that stuff with us tonight, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah, tell us some of the things you got going on. You got a podcast thing happening right now.
Yeah. So, currently I undertook a project back in January. Started a podcast, but it's also on video, so it's also on my YouTube channel. And it's basically talking to, call it what you want, 52 weeks in the year. So 52 top smallmouth anglers in North America. So I've been having, good hour conversation with some of the best anglers when it comes to smallmouth fishing. And that's a weekly show that's up on Sundays. And of course we have just normal YouTube videos that I do, a lot of tournament coverage, a lot of just fun fishing, tackle, tips here and there. And then of course I do a live every week on Thursdays, moving to Monday once the fishing season starts. And that's been a lot of fun as well.
SmallmouthCrush.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then we'll be doing a lot of guiding too this year. So
guiding on the Chesapeake and Thousand Islands.
Yes. Yep.
So how is the Thousand Islands tournament going to be won this year? Is it July we're up there?
September.
Oh, it's in the fall. That's right. It's in the fall, September.
Yeah.
Going to be one on the lake or the river?
It could go either way. We gotta find out if the border is going to be open.
Right.
That's going to have a lot to do with it. If the borders are not open, I think you have a better shot. You could do some damage on the river, only because a lot of those areas on the lake are going to get covered up pretty good with boats during that whole weekend practice. And Lake Ontario last year, I seen some of the worst fishing, the worst actual fish when I've caught them. The health of the fish were bad. So I think we're on a cycle of a downward spiral for Lake Ontario. That's my thoughts. Yeah, it's not good.
They're running out of gobies?
No, it's not that. It's I think it's a combination of a virus, some sort of virus, as well as overfishing and people keeping them. But the virus, the red blotches all over these smallmouth on every one was crazy this past summer.
Wow.
Freaking virus, man.
And very small.
That's sad.
I've had, we had decent days, but nothing like, wow. And there was never a pot of 1,000 fish that I could stay on for weeks and weeks. It was never anything like that. It was hunting and pecking for individual fish all season long, it seemed.
Wow. Well, that's interesting information.
Very scary.
It's unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It figures. I haven't been there for 15 years, and I get to go back this year. And I was counting on you to take care of that population of fish for me.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I'm hoping that it was just something funky. Maybe all the bass do go to Canada. I don't know. But
they knew. They swam over the border.
Dude, I don't know. I'm really concerned about the red blotches on the fish, and I'm concerned about the dozen charter boats out of Henderson Harbor that go out there and fill coolers every day of 20 to 25 fish for a half day group, and then the other half day gets another 20, 25, and then they go on their Galoo Islands to what I call the killing fields and start filleting these 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old smallmouth bass and have shore lunches every day.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Savages, dude.
Out of Henderson Harbor, they've been doing that. They've been
for
doing
years.
That
Yes,
ever.
Yeah. Forever. And the population, in the last 5, 6 years it's been fun. It's been good out there. I don't know if that's taken a toll.
Bass ain't even that good.
I don't know. All
right, I got a couple.
As good as walleye.
Huh? No, walleye's great.
I said it's not as good as walleye.
Nah. Couple things here. Crappie Kev on YouTube claims he bought your waypoints on eBay, Pete. And Danny South, and this is a good one back to yeah.
Son of a
Danny South wants to know, and we didn't get into this, but this is a good one. What do you do for frog storage? How do you keep your frogs from melting?
Yeah.
I got massive frog kills every year.
So do I. I just have them in that hardcover box and
buy new ones.
Keep them out of the sun. A lot of times you know, I'll the hard bottom. You can salvage them. You can just take the.
So weird.
Normally, it's the tentacles, right? The skirt sticks together.
Have you noticed though that like certain frogs they just
Spro
it just
frogs
doesn't
will-
ha- well,
yeah,
I've noticed
Spros-
certain frogs it
Spros
just doesn't happen to though. Like
yeah, spros
the
will
ones
mesh
that are
together.
usually good
Other
that I catch
your
fish
apps,
on, they live forever. You know.
Riz, you're right. They do. I don't have a problem with certain brands for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
But other ones that like they're just like
Mhm.
first 3 weeks gone.
Or
But-
s- or yeah, I've had name brand company frogs because I went through I kind of went through a little learning. I wanted to get better at throwing different frogs. You know, there's so many brands out there, and I bought a bunch this past summer. And some top reputable companies, those frogs like basically sunk on the third cast, and I could never get them to work right. And it kind of blows my mind. They're so, yeah. Pete, what's your frog choice?
Terminator frog.
Yeah, dude.
You know, they built Odd and those guys built an amazing set of frogs.
So you're talking like these.
Yep.
Yeah. So my buddy, who fishes up north quite a bit, loves the Terminators. And I looked at his box this summer and it was a full, I mean, that's all the frogs he had, 40, 50 Terminators. And and this guy catches them. And so I've never really thrown them, but I got the popping frogs. I'm getting the walking frog junior, seemed like the perfect size. I'm excited to try these. I'm glad you like them.
They walk incredibly well. But
okay,
back on I was watching Rambanis. I watched the highlight from him, and he power poled down in a back super shallow little cove area and threw a frog all day, seemingly all day. That's what they were saying on the commentary. Just letting these spring fish come in this deep of water. I mean, throwing a frog in that habitat, not moving your boat, not covering water, but waiting for the fish to come to you.
They're going to come too, Pete. They are going to come to him.
They did.
He might not win. Well, it's going to
They
get
did.
better, is what I'm saying. Down here,
Yeah.
we keep having this warm up, bright, sunny days. It's warming fast. I don't know if he can win, but he's got fish coming to him. You might see a day where it's like, instead of all 2.5 and 3s, the females just show up. If that happens, it could get bonkers down there.
Well, he's committed. I mean, I'm going to be watching. It'll be shout out to Boom Boom, and shout out to Travis for hanging out with us, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And man, we all learned a lot about tackle management. I'm still going to need help. I'm going to try. You've inspired me to do better. But you taught us all a lot tonight. Appreciate it.
Get your label maker, Pete. That's the first step. Get your 4mm bags and start separating and sorting.
Where do you get your bags?
Just Amazon, eBay, Uline. You just gotta look for them.
I love
the
those
ones with
little
peg
ones.
holes.
Yeah.
Get the ones with the peg holes, because then you can just put them up here on the board
Nice.
too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, well, thank you so much. Appreciate it, buddy. And we'll catch up with you real soon. Travis
good.
Manson, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
And he didn't even drink.
he didn't. He was too focused on his obsession, man.
Yeah.
Look at that wall of fame. Look at all those FLW.
Hey, what's the fridge look like, Trav? I want to see the White Claws all lined up like little soldiers.
Oh, we're still on? Damn. No, I
Hey, Travis Manson's back.
I just had a glass of wine earlier tonight. That's all.
You and me both.
What type? A positive or type O negative?
So, funny fact about that, I didn't realize this, but 90% of the population is a plus, I believe, which is kind of like, it's called ancient alien blood line.
Oh,
And if you're part of that bloodline, that would make you want to label baits and packages. And I don't know.
Label your label maker.
No, you're not 90%, dude. You are not 90%.
That was the highlight of the moment, Riz. The labeling your label maker. I like that. That was funny. Yeah.
All right, man.
Riz,
Let's move
we
on.
gotta
We got
do
a
a-
couple more things to do. Grand prize.
I think we got a list,
Yeah.
right? from
Facebook. Oh,
JK?
JK's.
Yeah.
JK, do you want Travis to hang for the list, or what do you got?
It don't matter.
What are we doing? Are we doing a list,
No,
or
yeah,
we,
you.
we doing co-angler tackle org?
Yeah. Just
I was
run it.
requested to get ready for both. Run it, okay. All you co-anglers, my whole thing is get as much information as you can, not necessarily about what you're doing. I usually stick to, hey, shallow or deep or a little bit of both. I want to bring as much tackle as I can. And if the one thing I need to ask is, am I going to have a compartment open or am I not? And you've heard me say this before. If there's a compartment open, I'm not going to bring a tackle bag. I want to clear the space, the floor space for everybody. That's me, that's him. Everybody's in a better mood when there's nothing on the floor. But if he's not going to have a tackle bag for you or a tackle container open, or the storage container open for you, bring a tackle bag. If I'm bringing a tackle bag, it's always that Ike backpack because it sits more upright and it's just less floor space and I can get so much tackle in there. But if I'm getting a container, I write down everything. Like I want to have every possible lure category available to me. So like I go on Tackle Warehouse to make sure I don't forget all the time. But I'm like wire baits, hard baits, and soft baits. That's how I break it down. And I want, my soft baits, the straight tails, the action tails, and the crawls, the bugs, maybe lizards. And then the jigs and the wire baits, they all go in here. The soft baits, they go in like a little book bag or like a little grocery bag, just stuff that I'm just going to stick on top of these two things. But this is your big flambeau. I think is this a quotient, Riz? I think you would know.
Yeah. Quotient.
That's it's their bigger quotient. It's maybe like 2 inches thick, but like I can put all my spinner baits and I can stack them deep. Spinner baits, jigs, and chatterbaits in there. So like you can't tell, but I've probably got like 12 or 15 spinner baits here, then right there. And then this is this is from a Lake Lanier tournament here recently. So I had a lot of jigs and some spinner baits and then some random underspin type stuff that I just stuck in there. But that's like your jigs, your wire baits. I didn't need any buzz baits, that thing. But this is the box. This is like 3.5 inches, 4 inches thick. And I can get, this thing weighs like 30, 40 pounds right now of all crankbaits. This would be hard baits. So in the summertime, post-spawn, you might see more top water in this. Right now, the only top water that I took to a pre-spawn event in Lanier is a couple of wake baits that I just threw in with the jerk baits. But if I can show you this, I have every crankbait imaginable and probably like 2 or 3 of each, and of course I have like 5 DT6s and Demon because who doesn't this time of year? But that's just a $14 box I got at Lowe's, and it's better than any box I've found for a co-angler because I've had too many tournaments where like something hits me and I want that one bait, and if I was being too simplistic, then I wouldn't have that bait, I'm not a brown paper bagger like some of the, you hear stories all the time. Oh yeah, he's just a co-angler. He carries a little brown paper sack and, a couple of shaky heads and, brings about 30 trick worms and he's good to go. Well, good for you, man. That's never been my path to success. And I'm too much of a fish head and I'm thinking through, as we've talked about how I fish the moment and all this stuff. So I change throughout the day, light penetration, the amount of light that you have, wind, all that stuff is constantly going in my head. So I want as many tools that I can get away with it without it being excessive, without it getting in the way of my boater. Yeah. Because you can't mess with the positive vibes that you need to bring to the table. So that go ahead, Pete.
How are you packing all that stuff? Like, do you have like a backpack and then tackle on the side or rods? How you, because you gotta get all that stuff down to the boat launch, you know? Or
Yeah.
meet your
So
partner.
that Ike backpack, I stick those 2 boxes in there. They'll
Right.
fit. And then I usually have like I use those missile baits bags now a lot for soft plastics. And I'll take 2 or 3 of them, depending on the tournament. And I always divide it up like this. One is for straight tail worms. That's going to cover your soft stick baits, your drop shot worms, your trick worms, your shaky head worms, your Ned worms, anything like that. And then I have another bag for action tail worms. So whether just any kind of worm with a tail on it, whether it's a ribbon tail, cut tail or anything like that.
JK?
The missile baits bags, I think they're similar to what Travis was talking about with like the 4 millimeter. They're pretty sturdy, and they're like $1. They're like 50 cents or $1 a pop.
Does the Bass U missile discount work on them?
Yeah, absolutely. You get them off there with
bags.
Yeah, you'll get them for less than $1. I bought 30 of them, and I got them for like 20
bucks.
Yeah, $20 or something like that. It was crazy.
And a cup of coffee.
That's right. And a cup of coffee. But yeah, they're really good because you label it. You just write it with a Sharpie. They've got like a white strip on there, and I'll do straight tail worms. I've used them for jigs. Like when I went up to the Cumberland for the Toyota Series Championship, I had a lot more jigs than I had planned to bring, and so I used it. I used one of those for just jigs, But and then the other thing, I usually just will put all my crawls, bugs, anything that's like a creature bait, lizards, anything else in the soft plastic realm all together. So it's like very quick, it's like, oh, I need this. I know exactly where I'm going. But as a co-angler, you don't have a huge boat with all this storage, but I've at least consolidated it into 3 categories of soft plastics. And I've got all my wire baits and jigs in one box. And I've got all of my hard baits for whatever the season may be. I just showed you more of a pre-spawn box with a bunch of crankbaits and jerk baits and a couple of wake baits. But that's going to change throughout the season. And then I have one terminal box. It's got shaky heads, my drop shot stuff, my hooks and my weights. And that's that smaller Ike quotient. And I can fit, especially the last 8 to 10 years worth of boat models, I can fit these 2 big boxes I showed you, that one small terminal box, and then those missile bags really fit really easily. I can fit all of that in a storage compartment behind my seat and get to it relatively quickly. Now, sometimes I'm having to take a couple things out and setting it to my side, but I'd rather take the time to do that and actually have the bait. Like I'll say it right now, like this year's been crazy. I've had some really difficult draws as a co-angler. I fished 2 BFLs so far in 2021, and I weighed in a fish on a wiggle wart, and I swear to you, I don't think I would have caught it on anything else. I threw a rock crawler all day long, and they wanted a wiggle wart, and so I finally switched and got my points. That's
because it's the best crankbait.
Well, I think it was they wanted the sound, and it was clear water, and it was 44-degree water. I've never fished in 44-degree water before. That was crazy. But at Lanier, I drew another cranker, and I'm having some difficult times here drawing. I'm learning a lot about crankbait fishermen because I drew out some hammers, but it's really hard as a co-angler to draw out a cranker. A lot of times, I won't waste too much time, but it was a very difficult draw at Lanier. I was able to get some bites on like a finesse jig and a shaky head, but that only produced 1 keeper out of like 4 or 5 fish catches. Well, they kept biting the back half of my shaky head off, and I was just using a robo worm. So, it was a sleeker profile, and I didn't want to go to anything bigger. And I switched to a Ned rig. I have never weighed a fish in on a Ned rig, but I knew I needed some. And had I been brown paper bagging it, I wouldn't have had anything like that. I would not have been ready. but I had some Ned rigs. I had 1 pack of Ned worms, green pumpkin, because that's really all you would need. But I made sure that I had it, and I caught a 2.5 pounder that gave me a good amount of points to start the year. You know, so that's all I can say about that with making sure you have as much tackle as you need.
JK, I would love for you to take some images of your tackle, your co-angler tackle management system, and let's put them up on social. Because I know we got a ton of people that you know, I'm sure they're interested in and would like to take a look. You know, if you're willing to let the camera inside that tackle box.
Yeah, you know, I mean, absolutely.
He'll do like Travis and put a couple bags of something over top of the something he's trying to hide.
I want to say, if I can, one thing about the point you made as far as the bag as a co-angler. I really respect that from you, saying that if the compartment was open, that's what you're going to utilize.
100%.
Because I make sure that back spot behind your seat there's not an anchor rope. There's nothing in there. It's all for you.
Amazing.
Because I wish more people had that attitude. You can fit everything you need in a day of fishing in that box. And it does clear that floor space. There's nothing more annoying. And I don't say anything. I'm not one to get confrontational in front of a co-angler, but it's in the back of my mind quite a bit. And it gets in my way quite a bit too.
Sorry about
that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, you got to think unselfishly a lot of times. But if you were going to just take it selfish as the co-angler and you're going to think through it selfish, I want you to have a clear path to the net back here when I get the fish on that's going to make me go home with money. Sure. You know, I know how few and far bites are. I mean, it's no secret. Co-angler's tough to get. You're not going to get 20 bites in a day. I don't remember the last tournament where I had 20 bites. I think it was Center Hill in 2015. But like it just doesn't happen. So bites are more precious out of the back. And if I don't have a clear path for you to get back there to the net, you know, that could spell trouble if I've got them back hooked on a crankbait or a jerkbait, you know? And I'll say this too, because that's why I use the Ike backpack, because it stands up a little bit more straight. And sometimes I might have to rework my boxes to fit stuff in there, but I'm going to find that out the night ahead of time if he's not going to have that compartment for me. But I don't want anything. So I draw like an imaginary line from the edge of my seat close to the, to the middle of the boat.
Yeah.
I don't want my rods going over that imaginary line. Yes, things might get jumbled and they might not be perfectly straight, like all the way to the left, and they might start leaning diagonally a little bit, but I don't want the butts of my rods to go over that line, because when you keep that middle path, everybody stays happy, and you don't get the comments like freaking co-anglers and yada yada yada. You don't spin your boaters out, because you can do that, and it's not fun when you've already.
Yeah, it's not fun when you guys are at odds, and I've been there, and I'm a little bit more lackadaisical, but I will step on tackle-backs, and but it doesn't bother me, if things are in the way. Those things don't bother me too much. And I aspire to be like you, Travis, where I'm so organized that I have compartments that are open, but I'm overflowing into my compartments.
Pete, that should be mandatory. If you're fishing boater, non-boater, that back compartment needs to be open, period.
I refuse to accept that, Travis. I can't do it, man. I gotta have it. I gotta have the that, the emergency tools. There's so much crap that I just can't find room for, and I try to keep some room. I appreciate it though, JK, and the level that you go to try to make that work, and it's greatly appreciated, I'm sure, by all your boaters, and I've very, very rarely have I had guys that bring too much in the boat. There's a classic story where Danny Brower had a co-angler, and he said, "You're not bringing that in my boat," because he showed up with a suitcase of some sort. But But
yeah, I'll try and pull some out just so you get an idea of this box again. This is a $15 box. It's black. It's got yellow tabs. I don't know the name of it. I just looked at it and knew it was deep. You want the depth. But like I can get about 6 more jerk baits with that right there. in this one little tab.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's
Travis
I'm
puts rod
covered.
sleeves on his jerk baits.
And labels them.
That's awesome. And you got to be prepared, right? You just got to have a multitude of baits, and I get it, man. But it was great. JK, I know you brought a list.
I did.
And
we'll get to that quick.
I want you to jump into that. And what kind of list do you have prepared for us tonight?
Yeah,
Travis, JK always brings an interesting list. I never have any idea what this list is about, but it's a top 5 or top 10 of something. So,
it's a top 5. It's a top 5, and I've got 2 lists, so I'm gonna let you pick one.
Hey,
we can go.
JK, before you hit the list, just remind people, Facebook like and share contest is coming up. We're about to hit that right after the list. So any of you guys on Facebook watching, like it, share it, get in there real quick. We got what do we got giving away?
$50 worth of Flambeau and Storm. Flambeau tackle boxes and Storm Arashi baits.
Ooh. All right. Z-Rust. I saw some Z-Rust tonight.
Yeah.
All right, JK.
So yeah, I'll
What's
jump
our
in.
choice?
I got 2 lists. So we can stick with the tackle theme and go with the top 5 Bash U TV seminars that give amazing tips for your tackle storage. Or we can, in light of us filming 3 seminar days this past week, I have just now scheduled us out throughout almost the entire year for what's coming to be dropped on Bash U TV. I can give you my top 5 seminars that I've already sat through that I cannot wait to watch again, that I think will quite possibly be 5 of our best this year.
Oh, BTCU pick. How do you pick?
The ladder.
The top 5.
Yep.
Top 5 new seminars coming at you to Bash U TV. This is my top 5. There are so many, and it was hard to choose. Honorable mention to our boy Shane LaHue. We already talked. The Umbrella Rig seminar was money. But don't sleep on that pre-spawn and clear water seminar either. I think those both would have made my top 10, just outside my top 5. So honorable mention to our guy Shane, who man, we had a lot of great young guys. Talk about showing up prepared and being awesome teachers. The future is really bright at Bash U TV because the young guys are organized and they can teach. So really happy with that. But at number 5, we have John Cruz with Solving the Shad Spawn. As many of us know, the shad spawn, it's not magical. I've not really experienced it to the point where it's like you just show up and you just catch everything that's there. It's like there's so much bait on a shad spawn, it's hard to catch them. But you'll see the bass just everywhere. But John shared some really cool tips in that seminar that I won't drop all of them, but including one that kind of solves the issue of what I just told you on what to look for that might get you around fish that are easier to catch when there is a shad spawn going on. So be looking out for that. I just may release it right before
the shad spawn.
the first full moon that, you know, like the majority of the country will receive the shad spawn. I like to do that for you guys. Just like I might release another honorable mention, John Cox sight fishing video might just come out before the March full moon for you guys. So I'm always looking out for you guys in our schedule release. I promise. I can't please everybody at once, but that's definitely what I'm doing, trying to stay current. At number 4, we have Bassmaster Classic Champ with Bassmaster Winning Ways and the Jerk Bait Flow seminar from Hank Cherry.
Ooh.
That's gonna be money. He gets into his retrieves, his unique retrieves.
Yeah.
You know, fishing it in dirty water, shallow water and why the shallow jerkbait might not be as good as the deep jerkbait in shallow water and vice versa. So there's some really interesting concepts there.
That was huge.
Oh yeah. Hank, man, he gave it away. Okay. We've been fishing jerkbaits here for years. My team partner won't want me to go dive too deep, but I'll say sorry to my team partner because what Hank gave away is the goods. He finally like debunked the myth of what most guys think a suspending jerkbait should be and how it should act. And Hank finally just totally tore that down. I wasn't that happy about it because I was kind of in the know for a little bit, but now everybody is. So look out for that, guys. It's probably going to come. I don't know. We might celebrate the Bassmaster Classic by releasing some Bassmaster Classic champ material. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be awesome. Brandon Cobb comes in at number 3. What we know about Brandon is that he is very good around the spawn. He's won the, 2 years ago when he won those 2 tournaments and three events at Lake Hartwell and Lake Fork. One was like an early spawn. So there was a lot of pre-spawn activity going on with some bedding fish, some spawn going on. And then you had the Lake Fork tournament where it was majority post-spawn. There was a shad spawn going on, but then there was still a little bit of bedding fish going on. And we all know about the famous 11-pounder. I know Riz and I have a big affinity for that video. We probably watch it 100 times a year. But his seminars, the strategies around the spawn. So we're not talking about just sight fishing. We're not talking about just blind bed fishing either. The fact that the spawn, there's a lot of moving parts that are going on and how a certain system, whether it's a lake or river, things are going on down south, whereas up north, it's totally different, and how to bring all that together in your fishing around the spawn. So I thought that seminar was awesome. At number 3. And number 2, we have one that Riz alluded to earlier, and that's Gerald Swindle's practice and preparation. Gerald took a seat for this one. He got really serious, and by take a seat, he really did. He sat down for this seminar and got just unloaded everything onto us. Pete, I think you liked that seminar, right?
I saw some of the best interaction with our audience, and they connected with Gerald, and he has a really amazing way of connecting with people, and it was really good.
He sat down,
really cool.
He sat down, got serious.
Everybody light lighters. Hold the lighters up.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot more comedy in his buzzbait seminar. Yep.
Huh. Yeah, I saw the buzzbait.
Yep. Yeah, it was good. But the practice strategy, it's no surprise to see why he's such a consistent angler and has won the Angler of the Year title a couple times. So
how practice time, like how you can over practice and valuing that, and there's so much valuable information there for somebody trying to figure out how to get themselves to the top level. It's right there.
Yeah, and I was amazed that what he said about eliminating water and how he will make himself use a whole practice day to go prove something to himself that he, in his mind, already knows.
Yeah.
It's like they're not going to be doing that. But if I don't physically go prove that to myself, I won't be able to live with myself, and he'll do that. And he's talking about his wife getting on to him because she thinks that's just wasting time. But it puts him in a better frame of mind to be more focused come tournament day. And there's some really interesting stuff along those same lines. So that one's going to come to you probably. We might celebrate the Alabama Swing of the Elite Series with a Gerald Swindle video or something. So look for that at the beginning of May.
Come on.
So it could be April. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I might got that wrong. That might be April. The buzzbait one might come out in May. But the number one is the one that I expect to be the most viewed seminar of the year on Bash U TV. This is the topic that it showed, right? So he got about 35 minutes into his seminar and was kind of made it through his content, but the questions would not let him in there. I mean, it was another full half hour of nonstop pelting him with questions. And I'm proud of him. This was his first seminar weekend with us. He gave it up, man. He has quickly become the expert. But it's sniper fishing, y'all. Patrick Walters has become the sniper.
Yeah.
He is using forward-facing sonar, Humminbird Mega 360 imaging combined with his live scope paint optics with a combination that, quite frankly, has been pretty unbeatable for him. Talking to him even more just blew my mind what he was doing at Hartwell here in my backyard. But then the Lake Fork tournament, obviously, he blew it out of the waters. But this seminar, I'm going to predict that it will be at least top 3, if not the #1 seminar by the year's end when we do our top 10 countdown.
Yeah, I believe that. Did he get into how his boat's rigged and how he's supporting all the electronics?
Oh yeah. He gave so his boat rigger is the same guy who rigs all my electronics, and that's Sonar Pros here in Georgia. So he uses those same guys, and there's a lot of different things going on there that he's an expert on. But he gave away the goods for how he's supporting all the units, all the the power, and he's still showing that high 12.6 volts or whatever at the end of a day of fishing. So he did dive deep on that. I mean, I was proud of him. He went in on everything. So I'm looking forward to getting that out to you guys, fairly soon. It might show up. I think we got to get some pre-spawn and spawning stuff here out of the way in February and March, but it might be coming to you in April.
The details were amazing, honestly. Watching as a student of the game and trying to advance my, sonar knowledge, he went off on the importance of 360, how that incorporates into his fishing. And the, one of the things that, and I'll give this little tidbit away, is this is interesting because he talks about keeping the scale the same, like fixing the scale on your forward facing sonar so it doesn't adjust to depth. So like when you get shallow and then it goes, like when you're always struggling, it tries to find when you go from 10 to 15 or 20 feet, it'll jump back and forth. But keeping the scale the same so that you can determine the size of the fish that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Once you start adjusting, once you let that adjust, the fish size goes up and down, and you don't really know what you're looking at, whether it's a big fish or a little fish. So that's, oh my gosh, that's just one of a million key pieces of information that Patrick, let us have on that seminar. So
and I'm gonna drop the goods on.
Call,
I want to drop the goods on that. There's one little what Pete's speaking to. Patrick said if he can make out the fins on that image, he knows that's the one he's after. But once he dials it in, like what Pete was talking about, dials in that scale, he said if he can't see like that tail differential fin, or even sometimes you'll see their fins under their belly, like that's how he's picking them out. So he's truly sniping, guys. Like he's like, I want that one.
That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Derek Mundy, when we had him on here, he's been dominating down on Fork. Not Fork, Sam Rayburn.
Yeah, Rayburn.
Yeah, it's Rayburn.
Yeah, he I know he talked about identifying with his electronics the mood of the fish, whether he should be spending time on them or not,
Yeah, and Patrick shared his Hartwell story, which it still makes me mad because I fished that tournament as a boater as well, and but he got so dialed into the mood of the fish, and I don't want to just give up the whole seminar, so I'm not going to, but he shares that story and gave up every little bit of information piece in that story about the mood of the fish, and it just was mind-blowing.
Yeah. First time I seen Panoptics was on Travis's boat down the Chesapeake. It was pretty wild. Could see him moving in the distance.
Yeah, it's big time. It's where it's going, and we got the best in the business teaching us about it right now.
Right.
And
what are you rolling with this year, Travis?
So I have. I'm excited because my boat build for this year is probably going to be the best setup I've ever had in my life. As far as electronics go, I'm running 2 Hummingbirds, one at the console, one at the bow. I'm running a Garmin at the console and 2 Garmins at the bow. So I actually have 3 units up front. I need 2 live scopes at the bow for me, and I also need the 360. And then the whole setup is pretty crazy. I'm going to have 1 live scope on an actual device that will allow me to move that with my foot, as well as stay in anchor lock or spot lock. And there'll also still be a unit mounted on the trolling motor as well for when I have to track down an individual fish with the trolling motor. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wait a second. How are you steering the sonar without moving the trolling motor?
It's
what's
called
that?
the Right Height Turret is the
Okay.
company that makes it. And it's on a separate pole that's mounted right next to the 360.
Gotcha.
Wow.
I've seen that.
Yep.
So that one's just pointed straight with your bow. You have one that's pointed straight with your bow, and then you have one that you can manipulate.
Correct. Well, no, they're both. Obviously, I can manipulate the one on the trolling motor with my foot, but yes,
right.
Last year I had both of them on my trolling motor, which is fine. I don't. That turret's just going to give it a little bit extra. It'll give me an option to be able to side scan, or I'm sorry, live scope when I'm in anchor lock. That's all. Majority of my time, I'm not anchor locked though, especially for smallmouth.
I see.
I'm using that live scope and hunting those fish down individually with that system.
Okay, I'm following now. That's
And
awesome, man.
you need 2 live scopes if you want to do it effectively up front. You need a forward view and you need one straight down that allows you to have a magnifying picture. That's how I explain it. The straight down, the live view will tell you what's under your boat, but because I have one transducer that's always looking straight down solely, it's giving me a bigger window of what's actually going on right below my boat as well as what's out front.
Although which one do you look at?
Both, dude.
All of them at the same time.
You look at them until you realize, okay, today I ate 3 spools of line up in my trolling motor because I wasn't paying attention to nothing.
Wouldn't it be great if they could just put all of this together on one unit?
Yes,
like
or have one brand that can do everything.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
That would be awesome.
You can. You can see the cracks in the rocks with a Hummingbird side image.
Yep.
The Garmin, I can't. But do you really need to see every crack in that rock? You just need to know there's a rock there. It's in my head. But I wish there was one unit that was great at 2D, live view, side view, down view, and it was a complete package. You don't do that. So you got to have all these different brands out there.
You just need to label them. And,
well, I do, and they're actually color coded. No, they are, Pete. The wires connecting each one to the batteries as well as to the black boxes. Like the front forward would be red, the down would be green. That way, if I have an issue, I can see the color of the wires in the back of the boat and in the black boxes, and it's labeled in case I take them off. I know which way to put them facing.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's key.
Sorry.
So much. There's so much to it. And, Paul Mueller gave a great seminar. He talked about the importance of down, shooting down, because you can also see the separation because a lot of times fish get on the bottom.
Yes, Pete, you're right.
And you can't pick them off. But with the live view down, you can pick them off. It's interesting.
Paul's the one. I gotta give credit where credit's due. He's the reason why I have two systems. I went up to Candlewood fishing with him about 2 years ago now, and he broke it down for me.
Yeah, when Nye was here, Oliver Nye, he's running two. They basically said like a wide view and then a tight view.
Yeah.
Without getting too detailed on it.
And this is my first year. I'm using that C Clear that everybody's talking about. That just makes your wiring so much more efficient. And it's
awesome.
I was so worried, with all this technology and you spend all this money, you want to make sure it's working properly. And I just didn't trust going on Amazon and buying a bunch of wire like I used to, and then having that package is put together to what you want to have happen. So because I have 3 units at the bow, they're able to build that C Clear package perfect for me. And I think anyone who's serious about electronics needs to look at that device as far as supplying power to their electronics.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, we
got a.
I got one in the tracker.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yep. We got a discount if you want to try C Clear Power harness, which I highly recommend as well. Yeah. That's available over at your pro members benefits at bashu.tv.
15% off.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So much of it. Hey, thanks so much, everybody. It's been a great night. Oh my gosh, so much information has been shared and learned. And Travis, I'm going to have you come over and fix me because I don't think I can do it by myself. But the organization is amazing. JK, thanks for the lists. Thanks everybody. Riz,
Pete,
BTC, you guys are the best. And
Facebook.
Oh, we got a Facebook and like share winner,
yeah.
Which we're going to be giving away. Do you have a winner, Rich? Are you ready?
Yeah. I'll get the winner for that together. Brian's going to deliver the grand prize trivia question.
That's right. Earlier tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We have that. We have that too.
Yeah, that's what we did. Yeah.
Give me 1 second and I'll get it done. Earlier tonight, Travis talked about using Z-Man baits and had an epic day on the water. Caught over 100 fish on 2 baits.
What bait? 2 baits.
How big of a bag did Travis catch that day?
Just under 28. We're going
to
call it
dumbass.
Travis.
Oh, shit. I thought that was a question. Hold on. I didn't give the ounces.
Well, we don't know the ounces.
You need a new question.
I know it in my head. Oh, I screwed up royally. I just thought I was sorry. Nice.
That's good TV right there.
I gotta go with it. Somebody jumped in and got the answer immediately.
All right,
so.
he's the winner.
Yeah. So congratulations, Bert.
Nice.
It was 27 pounds, 27-pound bag.
That's what Travis said.
27-pound bag on 2 baits all day long. Congratulations, Bert. What? You are the winner. You just won yourself $100 worth of Flambeau and Storm products.
And
Congratulations.
Some hats and some
nice.
pterodactyls.
Hey,
and
speaking
Travis
of the,
going to send you a smallmouth crush package or something.
There you go.
So get that information.
Awesome.
So speaking of the message board, the subscribers have spoken. I'm watching the guys chime in here. It sounds like they really, really, really want that Patrick Walters seminar earlier than April.
Yes.
So I promise you, I will
do
seminar
too.
Yeah, it's jerkbait.
Yeah, but I can't do everything for him. But I've got a certain method to the madness.
Yes,
but I will. I promise you. Well, dude, I'm not going to release a cold water shallow cranking video in June. It's just not going to happen, So like that's gonna be it. But I promise you, I will try to move up the Walters sniper fishing seminar earlier. Sniper. I'll try to get that earlier, guys.
Rich.
And the Facebook like and share winner for tonight's Bass University Live podcast is Shane Cockle. Congratulations, Shane Cockle. You won yourself $50 worth of Flambeau and Storm baits.
Is there a Y in
Bass
that
University
name?
Nope.
Is it spelled like mine?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Guys, remember, killer member benefits, discounts like you wouldn't believe. 4 more days, something like that left, and the 15% off at Tackle Warehouse, 40 to 50% at Rapala, 40% at Flambeau, 30% off at Missile Baits, free shipping with cash and rods, 25% at Gills Gear, 15 Sea Clear Power, and $10 off at TH, 10% at MikeIconelli.com, 15% at Rod Warrior, free SmallmouthCrush buff with every DM, and that's all I got.
All right. Yeah, go over to Pro Members Offers. It's available on the Bash University or bashu.tv website down in the lower right-hand corner. Check it out, guys. There's so much there, and we're bringing more all the time. And make sure you take advantage of that as a subscriber.
Yes, and if you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber. Use 15% off Tackle Warehouse
today.
Do it.
Yes.
Go.
It's good to the end of the month, man. My gosh. With all the darn sonar that Travis is making you buy, you can save millions of dollars.
Millions. Serious, dude. You can buy a trolling motor. That 15% off.
Absolutely.
That's a wrap, Peter.
You definitely could. Thank you, Travis. Thanks, JK, Riz, BTC. Thank you for watching, and look for us next Tuesday, 7 p.m. for another edition of Bash University Live. Good night, everybody.
Moment on the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together, the One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Tackle Warehouse is proud to sponsor the FLW Pro Circuit and is the official tackle retailer of FLW, providing proven bass fishing gear as well as the newest and hottest tackle. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service staff can help you every step of the way. And we offer free ground shipping on orders over $50. Tackle Warehouse, everything for the bass angler at the lowest prices. Guaranteed.
I have to be constantly on the lookout for new techniques to stay on the top of my game.
Giant.
Some have been more successful than others.
Giant.
The finesse fingernail happens every time. The chain gang.
Broke it off.
The crow's nest.
Never let go.
And don't even get me started on tackle management, especially trying to stop rust and corrosion. Peanut butter.
I could.
Motor oil. Gotta keep the rust off all these baits. WD-40.
Gotta keep the rust off.
Silica, toothpicks, Q-tips. The list goes on and on. I'm hard on tackle. I fish fast. I need my tackle organized and protected. I can't be worrying about losing baits to rust. And when it comes to tackle management, there's only one solution. Flambeau tackle storage systems with Z-Rust technology. The original anti-rust tackle box. Uncompromised clarity. Renowned durability. The infused anti-rust option that is FDA safe and free of harmful chemicals. The organization options are endless, but there's only one. One box, one anti-corrosion technology, one family-owned American-made brand, Flambeau Z-Rust Tackle Solutions. Preserve, perform, repeat.